Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, whoever or wherever you are. Welcome to the StreamYard again. Well, I'm almost 3 o'clock. Well, it is 3 o'clock now. How strange is it? I set up the computer and then I went and made me a cup of coffee, came back, and the computer decided to update itself. So it was just like, come on. It was like one of them slow wheels that were going round and round and round. That's why I like starting about 10 or 15 minutes early. So, but when I started 10 or 15 minutes, well, 10 minutes earlier, that's where it started to update itself. So here we are. Anyway, we're on live and away we go. So thanks very much for everybody for joining me on this Sunday morning. What a beautiful blue sky, nice and warm it is, fantastic. So as I say, good morning from Lay's Retired and Living the Dream in the Australian mug, Retired and Living the Dream. So many things to talk about today. But again, this is your comment, or this is your chance to have your comment, have your say, ask whatever questions you want to do, and I'll answer them to the best of my knowledge. And if I can't answer them, I'll direct you towards those people that can. So, yeah, good morning, everybody. Score Guru, hey up, Les. How's it going? Fandabi Dozy, thanks very much. Yeah, it looks like another sunny day. I know. Here we are in February, and it's a lovely sunny day. And it's definitely getting warmer because I can feel it getting warmer day by day as we go on. But I don't mind. I'd sooner sit in the warm than sit in the cold. At least I can put a fan. There's a bit of a breeze blowing now. You can see the bushes. So that's a nice little cool breeze. But I'd sooner sit in front of a fan than having to sit in front of an electric fire to keep warm. Bill Simpson, hi Les. Are there any nice golf courses near Rayong? Well, it says golf course, but I would imagine you're saying golf course. Yeah, golf courses. Apparently so, yeah. We have a couple of friends that are really into golfing, and there's some world-class golfing courses around Pattaya and Rayong. So I don't think it's particularly cheap. I'm not a golfer myself, but a number of years ago, a friend of mine told me it was sort of £60 for a day out golfing. And basically what that's for, because you've got to pay for a caddy. Well, you don't have to pay for a caddy, but it's sort of expected. Then you hire a golf cart to go around. Then you give a tip to the caddy as you go around. So on average, about 60 quid a day. I don't know how much that is in comparison to the UK or America's. But again, people have asked me to do a couple of videos on the golf courses. I wouldn't know the first thing about golfing at all. So I wouldn't know a good course or a bad course. But just reading in the comments and the research that I did for living in the area, apparently Pattaya's got 17 world-renowned golf courses. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. There's lots of people like golf, and me not included. I probably don't think I've got enough time for golf. Many years ago, I was asked whether I wanted to join a electrician's golfing tournament type of thing. He said, you'll improve your business. He said, by attending this event. So I wouldn't have a clue what to do. So I never started. I had enough business doing the electrics anyway without actually generating any more businesses. But yeah, that was a sort of long-winded affair, wasn't it? And yes, we do have golf clubs or golf courses around the Rayong area. So again, retired on the beach. Greetings from Koh Samui. Quick question: did you decide to keep your car? Yes, I decided to keep my car. We went away. We did 3,000 kilometers in it, and it was faultless. It behaved impeccably. It was beautiful. And again, me and the wife were talking. And again, actually, a lot of subscribers commented that Nissan was in financial difficulties. And when I've looked further into that, that's correct. They've laid off, or they are going to lay off 9,000 employees throughout the world. And another documentary they're saying, they said they've got about 12 to 14 months before they go bust if they don't have a rescue plan. Now, again, watching another documentary, and there are a few car companies in trouble because of the EVs or the electric vehicles. Everybody's pushing the electric vehicles for a greener climate type of thing. So apparently Nissan, Mitsubishi and Honda are going to collaborate with each other and work as one. So what the car is going to be called under the collaboration and who's going to have the majority of power and things like that, because Nissan's going to go in with a bad reputation really, because they're actually a failing company, where Honda is the top and Mitsubishi, I don't know where they come, they're in there somewhere. So I think Honda will probably take the lead and then Nissan and Mitsubishi, but let's see what happens. They're doing this to save costs and obviously share technologies and things like that. The EV situation is there's lots of electric vehicle cars. BYD used to get slated, a Chinese company, but by all accounts, they're quite good. And you see many, many, many electric vehicles on the road here. And they're on about the UK not being up to speed with regard to electric vehicle charging points. Thailand is way, way, way behind that. I would think driving an electric car over here in Thailand is fraught with danger, because is there going to be enough charging points? Certainly if you go to a busy shopping mall or something like that. So who knows? Let's see how it goes. Paul Light, heart, gold. It's everywhere. Yeah, gold is everywhere. And the Thai ladies like gold. Hi, Les. Good morning. Looking beautiful there as usual. Have you done any research on about applying for a UK pension? I know probably too early, but I've seen a very long, in-depth form. Yeah, I'll come on to that in a minute, because I've got some further information with regard to pensions. Went into the Halifax in Castleford yesterday, and they are shutting the branch in September. Another bank leaving the town. We only have 2 left again. When I was back in the UK, my Barclays bank closed down as well. So the nearest one was like Middlesbrough, like an hour away on the bus. The banks are just shutting down everywhere. It's true what they say. They're trying to get a cashless society where you pay everything by card. I remember Les saying that my final 2 years before retirement would fly by. Well, I can 100% disagree. Feels like I've come to that few miles of a marathon. I'm crawling on my hands and knees. Okay, yeah, I can understand that, and I'll come on to that as well in a minute. No ferries around Koh Samui now. Don't allow EV cars. Yeah, because they keep catching fire, don't they? I would not buy an electric car in Thailand. Too much flooding. Well, I mean, where we live, we've never been flooded. So I think flooding goes on everywhere. You're unlucky if you get caught in a flood type of thing. The last 2 years, that'll fly by. We had an expression in the we had an expression in the fire brigade, because we always clocked off, and the tannoy message come across 59. It's because we started on the hour, so 59 was a minute before we started, and that 59, when you were going home, just seemed like to drag. And and that's what somebody told me about my retirement. He said that last final year that you'll do retirement, it'll sound like 59. You're just waiting for that 59 when you can clock off, or you can, sign off type of thing. And yeah, 2 years, it should really pass. Probably the last year will pass the quickest, but it's a marathon, matey, not a sprint. So you'll get there in the end. And but it gives you time to do your planning and preparation, doesn't it, as to coming over here. But best wishes on that, and I hope everything goes well with that. What else was going to? Oh yeah, the pension. Funny enough, I've had quite a few emails this week, because I did a video quite a while ago now with regard to getting your full pension here living in Thailand, because we don't live in a reciprocal country. And for those people who don't know, and there are many thousands of people who don't know this, but if you get your state pension and you're living in, and you move to Thailand or some various other countries around the world, your pension is frozen at that rate. So I've done a workaround, and the workaround is go and live in a reciprocal country. And again, I've done the videos. I can't exactly say which one it was, but something like frozen pensions, get out or something like it. But it's there on my channel if you're looking for it. It's on about pensions. And there is a way of getting around the system where you can claim for your pension. Now, there's 4 guys that I know for sure that are doing it. 3 of them are there now. And 1 guy goes there in April with regard to living in the Philippines for 185 days. And I've had a few emails just lately asking me what the result is. Well, the guy that went the earliest still isn't over his 6-month stay yet. So some people are doubting that it will actually happen. But whilst they're living in the Philippines, they have got their rise. They are getting the extra rise for the time that they're there. And a few people are doubting it, saying, oh, yeah, we'll wait until they move back to Thailand. But why have it in black and white that you can do it? And because this guy talked to the Department of Work and Pensions, talked to the top guy, and he said, yes, it's going to work. So why doubt that it isn't going to work? And there are many people, looking into it. And I suppose there's those people that will, and then there's those people that won't. And at the minute, the guys that are over there are going to think to do it. They're going to gain in the regions of £200 a month. Now, it's worth doing it for £200 a month. But if you just want to do it on a year-to-year basis where you only get a 2.5% rise, financially wise, it's not worth doing. It starts to kick into being financially viable when it's like a 10 or 12%. So the minimum rate is going to be 2.5%. So 4 years, that gives you 10% a rise in your pension. So that's almost £1,000 a year rise. So then it looks a little bit more favorable. For instance, if you're going to go visit your family back in the UK for, say, 3 months, and then do another 3 months in either Turkey or the Philippines on your way back to Thailand or wherever, then you can claim all of them allowances that you haven't had over the past years. You won't get the money back, but you'll get the percentage rise. So that is still ongoing. And for those guys, if you are watching the video with regard to the pension, just send me another email or send me another letter to see how things are going on. I've got a couple of guys that are living in the Philippines now. They're going to send me some details on the cost of housing and things like that, your visa to stop there for 6 months. The flight, I looked at the flights this morning, and basically if you fly over there April the 6th and you stay there for 6 months and you fly back to Thailand, the cost is 160 quid return flight from Bangkok to Manila, the Philippines. So the flights are very, very cheap. The accommodation, I'm thinking about 200 to 300 quid a month. So for those people who were paying for accommodation back in Thailand as well, yeah, that's probably the only expensive part of it, really. And the visa isn't expensive. Food, you'd have to buy food living in Thailand anyway. So it swings and roundabouts, in it. Like I said earlier on, there's those people that will do it, and then there's those people that don't. And for me, if I was going to get a £200 a month pension rise for the rest of my life over a 10-year period, that works out about £27,000. I did the calculations in the video, so if you want to know, go and watch it. Let's say it costs you £6,000 to do it. Over a 10-year period, you're still £20,000 better off. £20,000 that the government are not going to pay you if you don't do it. So anyway, again, that's another long version of my pension video, but it's worth doing. I live on my state pension in Thailand, and in April this year we'll get a rise. I could top it up with a workplace pension, but if you get 12,750, you tax. Exactly. I mean, as I will be, because I get my state pension, and I can say next year now, for many, many years, it's all been 2 years' time, like 3 or 5 years' time, and now it's next year, 18 months. The only downside of that, I'll be 66, so with age, because I've had more years behind me than I have left in front of me. So let's hope that, I still maintain my fitness and energy type of thing so I can enjoy my pension, because that's just going to go on holidays. And I can't wait for that. Well, I can wait because it's 18 months. It's a bit like one of the comments where that 2 years, it doesn't pass very quick, but I've got only 18 months to wait now for my pension rise. Spent last week in Chiang Rai. Surprising, the air was actually really good. Got back to Bangkok to get my ride to Hua Hin. 4 hours, 30 minutes, and half the time choke. Yeah. We've just had an order given by the mayor of Rayong not to burn any, not garden rubbish, no nothing, because of the government are trying to do something about it. Apparently, this is the worst year they've ever had with regard to the parts per million, 2.5. And so now that they have to do something, or they're trying to do something about it. But in reality, they won't do it. They're saying all of these high fines and things like that. But you know what's going to happen? Oh, I don't know. Somebody just threw a match on it, threw a cigarette on it, and it just set fire. So again, it's sort of a no-teeth agreement that they just want people not to burn anything. But burning it, sadly, is the cheapest way to get rid of it. So yeah, the pollution for 3 months of the year, January, February, March, Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, and down south Korat type thing is very, very bad with pollution. Here where I am, as you can see, the skies are not cloudy, they're not haze or something like that. We do get pollution down here, but nowhere near the same extent as Bangkok. Living in the middle of the countryside, surrounded by trees and that, I just love it here. The air quality for me is okay. And I've got emphysema, so it doesn't really bother me. I've got mild emphysema, I must say, but I've never really been coughing and choking type of thing. But I believe in Bangkok is very, very bad. What is the risk of crime in Thailand for car owners, and how are they protected? How do they protect? Now, I've got to say, crime in Thailand is, it happens. There's crime everywhere around the world. But as far as crime is concerned in Thailand, it is very, very low because the punishment is so severe. Car crime, it's hardly, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I've got stuff at the back of my house. I've got a weed whacker, a strimmer thing. If I left that out in my garden at home in Redcar, it'd be gone. It'd be gone within 1 or 2 days. Somebody'd clock it, somebody'd notice it, and it'd be gone. Sometimes we leave the car unlocked here by mistake because we don't have that fear that you must lock this, you must lock that, you must lock the other. Crime over here is good. Motorbikes, I've seen motorbikes parked outside of 7-Eleven with the ignition key still in. And people just pop in, get a pint of milk or a couple of changs or whatever, and then they're just back on the motorbike and away they go. That's the one superb thing that I've got to say about Thailand is the crime is very, very, very low. Drugs, yes, they have a problem with that over here as well, but that's everywhere. So don't worry about crime. I've done videos. I've walked around Bangkok at 4 o'clock in the morning, and or 2 or 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning in Pattaya, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning in Bangkok. Never ever felt threatened at all. Even walking down some very dark alleys, which I would never have done in England. So yeah, tick the crime off your list for Thailand, because crime is very, very low. When you spent your first full year in Thailand, did you struggle with the heat? Yes, I did. I've got to say, yes, it was hot. I mean, we're coming up to the hot season now. Probably March, April, May is the hot season, and it gets hot and sticky. And if I've hear many complaints, oh, it's too hot, it's too hot, it's too hot. There's a couple of vloggers that I know sat outside in the baking sun, not under a shade, on a chair with no hat on, saying, oh, look at it, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. Of course it's hot. If you're going to sit in the middle of the sun, it's going to be hot no matter where you are in the world. You know, like Spain, people go to Spain for the sun, but spend most of the time in the shade because it's too hot. Thailand's just the same. I'm not very brown at all. You know, where the sun touches, I'm browner, but I've still got whiteness all over me because I don't sit in the sun. I sit in the shade. And that's what you do. You know, you go from one shady spot to another. But the sun's nice. The sun is warmth, the feeling of warmth, and it gives you that plenty of vitamin D that the sunshine gives you, and it makes you feel better as well. So yeah, I wouldn't say a struggle, uncomfortable, and I know it's going to be uncomfortable coming up for the next 3 months or so, but that's only 3 months of the year. The winter time is the high season here in Thailand, and it's a wonderful temperature. It really, really is. we've just come back from Banrak Thai, which is really, really up north, and I felt the cold there as well. I had a jacket on, shirt, and a t-shirt underneath that as well, and that came down to 14 or 15. 14 or 15 in England, you're walking around in a t-shirt. But here, because you're used to 30s and 30 pluses, 15 is very, very cold. If I live to 84, hope to get 30 full years retirement. I will have worked for 38 years. I think that's fair. But how many healthy years? Who knows? That's a good point. That's a good point. Like I said before, we've all had more years behind us than we have left in front of us. And as we get older, health problems. I mean, I've got a bit of rheumatoid arthritis. I've got like emphysema. Me bones ache and me muscles ache when I get up in the morning. Kickstart them in the use type of thing. So yeah, as you get older, things start to wear out as well, and health issues come into it as well. So do what you can whilst you can, as soon as you can, for as long as you can. That's a mouthful, isn't it? So yeah, retire as soon as you can. I'm so lucky. I had the opportunity to retire at 50, and I grasped it with both hands. And to say, I've got to say, I'm very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. I joined the fire brigade as a 19-year-old person, and when he told me I could retire at 50, I thought, 50? You're an old man when you get to 50. And I retired on my 50th birthday because I could, and I've never, ever looked back. And I don't want to retire from being retired. If I do any electrical work for anybody, or I choose to help out, I do voluntary work at the cat sanctuary in Rayong, it's because I choose to do it, not because I have to do it. Same with this, we're doing YouTube and things like that. I choose to do it. I don't have to do it. And hobbies and interests, you've got to have a hobby or interest when you're living in Thailand, because otherwise you could just end up being a bar stool warrior, living on the bar stool and complaining about life and just bitching. Nobody gives you a helping hand. You've got to go and look for it yourself. We have 21-meter wall around our house in plus a 4-3-meter gate. I think that damages the dog trying to get out. Well, I think you could have done half that amount of fence because you've got the dog. Thais don't like dogs, and because dogs make a noise, and that scares people away. We don't have dogs. You know, we have plenty of soy dogs around here. So if anybody comes down the road, the dogs are always barking. So somebody else feeds the dogs, and they let everybody know that there's somebody that they don't know on the road. Oh, Jackson, off to the dentist now. Catch you later. Okay. Hope it's another good experience at the dentist. I've got to say, this guy Jackson in Thailand, he suggested the dentist because he's had a lot of work done at this dentist in Rayong, and it was half the price that he'd been quoted in Pattaya. And I've recommended this dentist to so many other people as well. I've had a crown from them, and that was 12,000 baht. So the work is superb. The attention to detail the dentist has is brilliant. So top notch. In fact, I told him so yesterday. I said, thanks to you that, you know, we've had this good dentist. So I'd recommend this dentist. Again, I've done a video on the dentist, so go and watch it, and go and find where they are in Rayong. They are reasonably priced, and the work is second to none, I've got to say. And you can get same-day service. Try doing that in the NHS in a dentist in England, if you can find one, there is. So yeah, thanks very much for joining us. PK Crime. I spaced out and left out of my small carry bag next to the moving sidewalk Bangkok at the ATM. Realised 10 minutes later, went back. There it was. No way that would happen. Yeah, again, you know, the Thais are honest, and so are we. I mean, a couple of times, I'll give you 2 examples. My wife seen somebody at the Tesco Lotus where we go shopping. A lady got off a motorbike and a 500 baht note fell on the floor, and she went into the bank. So Ploy grabbed all the 500 baht note, followed her upstairs into the bank and said, "You've dropped this 500 baht. It's about 12 quid." And the woman's like, "Oh, so thank you. And what we do, if we find 20 baht or a 50 baht note on the floor, we give it to one of the beggars or something like that, because although we found it, we're okay for money. We're not begging for money. We're not scrounging around for money. So we will give it to somebody else. And also my wife has also found, money on the table or something like that, and given it to the lady who works in the restaurant, things like that. And it's being collected because even the restaurants are honest. And somebody came back and said, "Oh, I've left 1,000 baht note underneath the table type thing." That was to pay. Then they'd paid with a wallet, forgetting that they'd put this 1,000 baht underneath the table mat to pay the bill. So the Thais are invariably honest. You get some of them that are not. It's like everywhere else, isn't it? Hi, Les. PM2.5, as you know, I'm in the North Bangkok for a couple of weeks. Every month the schools are closed for a week. They even waive the fee for traveling. Yeah, again, the burning season has got a lot of answer to it. Even if it's like everywhere else, isn't it? If Thailand stopped the burning season, then there's the Myanmar, there's the Cambodia, and there's the Laos. They would also, and the prevailing winds are always going down to the south anyway. So we would still get pollution, but maybe it's not as much. I mean, that's why a lot of people leave Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, the burning season, for 2 or 3 months of the year. It's improved considerably now. Good. No vloggers ever seem to discuss leaver guilt. I'll explain. When someone retires and moves abroad to paradise from the UK, for example, they must feel some guilt about leaving family behind in the UK. I can answer that. In fact, I think I've done a video on that as well. And I got sort of pressured into it, and I got sort of castigated, is that the word for it, when I was going to move to France. So it wasn't even moving over to Thailand, it was moving over to France, like an hour and a half on the plane to get to where I was going to go. I'm leaving all my family and my friends and things like that. So let's discuss this guilty feeling about leaving. We only have one life. Is that correct? Yes, it is. We don't know when we're going to die. So if you've worked all of your life and you want to do something, isn't it selfish for others to say, well, if you go and live over there, we won't see you? So they actually are controlling what you do in your life. It is a difficult choice to make, I agree, and it's a strange choice to make. And some people that I know will not make it because of the grandkids, the daughters, the sons, the family and friends and things like that. Well, that's their choice. My choice was, I lived in England all my life, and I knew when I retired, I would never, ever live in England, because I've looked outside of the box and I like living outside of the box. So why should I feel guilty about doing something that I wanted to do to please all the other people that maybe didn't want me to move over here? So it's your life. You choose what you want to do. You travel your own path. And for others, I think it's selfish of them to castigate you, to say, well, you shouldn't be doing this. Well, what about this? What about that? What about the other? And I've had this conversation with a couple of people over the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm blunt in what I'm saying. And sometimes people maybe think I'm too blunt, because I tell it how it is. I left my sister, my stepdad, and my mother when I came over here to Thailand. But with modern technology, I was speaking to them every week on the iPad. So in reality, you can still keep in touch with them. You can't go around and sit and have a cup of tea with them. But then that gives you your quality time when you go back to the UK for, say, a couple of weeks. And you spend the 2 weeks with them, as I did with my mum. I seen my mum every day for 2 weeks that I went back to the UK. So, yeah, it's guilt, living with it. You've got to make your own mind up for that, for your own reasons. And when all said and done, it's your life. Bon Jovi's favourite song, or one of my Bon Jovi favourite songs, It's Your Life. And it's no good laying in the hospital bed thinking, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that, I wish I'd done the other. Just go and live your life, do whatever you want to do. Sadly, in my 30 years career in the fire service, I went to so many accidents and injuries and deaths. And, 5 minutes before we were called, they were still alive. We'd never know when our number's up. So go and live the life that you want to live, not what other people want you to live. I hope that sort of makes sense. I think it does. Thai dentists are brilliant. I was talking to a mate yesterday. They paid £25 just for a checkup. 2 illegals walked in, and I got everything for free. I'm going to do a video one day. I really am going to do a video one day and have a really, really good rant at everything that I can see that's happening. And I'm a normal, average, everyday working guy or ex-working guy. And if I can see it, why can't the government see it? All the people are saying the same things, but the government are ignoring it. The government are there to serve us, the public. They're trying to say that we give you our best endeavours to do what the people want. Everybody's screaming to the high heavens about illegal immigration, but are they doing anything about it? No, they are not. Anyway, I'm going to do a separate video on that because I've got a lot to say about that. I've never been ripped off here in Thailand. I don't live in Pattaya. Well, I've been ripped off a couple of times. I got scammed by, well, not scammed by the police. I had to pay a fine to the policeman, should I say, and it didn't go in a brown envelope. It went straight into his pocket. But I've done a story about that as well. My wife lost 3,500 baht, got scammed on Facebook for a hotel booking. So yeah, it happens. Dual pricing, there's a bit of dual pricing, but it's not exorbitantly expensive. But we found a restaurant on Koh Samet. There was 2 menus, all in Thai and all in English. And when I looked closely, I could see, the picture type thing were exactly the same, but they were 10 baht more expensive on the foreigner menu. And when I asked Ploy, my wife, to have a look, she said, yeah, everything is 10 baht more expensive on the English menu compared to the Thai menu. So I just got up and walked out because it was obvious that it was, dual pricing. Only 10 baht, but it's the principle more than anything else. So yeah, dual pricing goes on, but everywhere in the world, what city is there that people don't try to scam you? Taxi drivers, one of the biggest scammers everywhere you go in the world. They always trying to rip you off. So yeah, but you just go with your gut feeling. If you feel you're going to be ripped off, you are getting ripped off. And again, I've done some stories about getting ripped off in China. I paid 120 quid for 6 cups of tea. 120 quid for 6 cups of tea. And they were only small cups of tea as well, But I had a smile on my face and talk about it and think that scam was absolutely fantastic. They deserved the money because it was so professional and I was so taken into it, 120 quid for 6 cups of tea. I don't feel guilty about leaving the UK, live in Thailand. Well done. Total Sense Les, thank you very much. UK government are serving their masters. Yeah, Andrew Lloyd, very true, Les. Life is for living. Good for that. I want to leave England because of the illegal immigration and how unfriendly. I just shut up now. That's gone off now. Unfriendly the cities have become. Yeah. Okie dokie. Okay, right. Getting back on to one or two things here. I've been talking now for half an hour. There's a couple of things I want to mention and make a shout out to one of the guys. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I did a live stream. It was probably one of the worst live streams I ever did as far as technicality, because I tried it out with the guy that I was talking to, and everything worked. And I put it on all the new equipment when I came outside because I wanted this backdrop because it's a beautiful sit outside, and everything went P-tong. And so that's the last live stream I did, and that was with Cameron on Thai Lady Matchmaker. And again, there was quite a lot of emails I got from that. And talking to Cameron today, and well, not today, the other day, and he's holding an event in Hua Hin. So anybody that fancies meeting some ladies from the age of 42 to 55 that are all not work. When I say working girls, I mean like, you know, proper work, not bar work or, you know, masseurs and things like that. He's holding an event on the 15th to the 17th of February. So any guy that wants to meet a girl or these ladies, the event is on the 15th to the 17th. So if you want to contact Cameron, Thai Lady Matchmaker, the address is it's scrolling on the bottom there, Thai Lady Matchmakers, and email Cameron at the email address below. And he'll give you some details. They're having like an evening meal or introduction session type of thing. So if you're in Hua Hin area and you want to go and have a look at that, go and have a look at it. I said I'd give him a shout out for it. He's had quite a few responses with regard to his services that he offers. And again, I'm looking forward to some good stories from out of this. It's only been a couple of weeks or so, but he's had a few emails and requests, and he's only sort of early stages side of things. So give it a go, see what you think. Because that's one of the questions that many people ask me: where do you find a good girl in Thailand? You know, well, that's like $100 million question, isn't it? You know, if I had the truthful answer to that, when I had a list of good girls, then I'd be a multimillionaire, wouldn't I? But there are many ways. You know, the internet can be dangerous as well. You know, with internet dating and things like that. Many people knock the bar girls in Pattaya in Bangkok and things like that, but they're not all bar girls are the same type of thing. So you can go and you can talk to the girl. Maybe she's just come down and she's just very, very new to all of this game. And, you know, the streets are paved with gold and they think they're going to find a boyfriend for the rest of their lives. And vice versa, you know, same with the guys trying to find the girls. A lot of the guys say the girls are bad, but I've heard on the other side of the coin as well from the girls, a lot of the foreigners are bad as well. So it swings and roundabouts in it, but try every avenue and eventually you will come up with a real diamond. And I've got to say that I met my wife and we've been together for 9 years. This July, we've been together for 9 years. So 8.5 years we've been together. And have we had our ups and downs? Of course we have, because it's a big cultural difference. You know, and the cultural difference is, you know, understanding the Thai culture and what they understand and what they don't understand. And again, talking to many others, as you can imagine, I've been doing this for 4 years. I've talked to many, many, many people. So I've got to say, misunderstanding is probably one of the biggest arguments that people have over here. And I'm guilty of doing that as well. I've flew off the handle 2 or 3 times on a misunderstanding. And I always like to clear the air and get it sorted out. And if we have any issues, we talk about it and we get it sorted out. So I understand and she understands. Now, a lot of Thai people just say yes, 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 when they don't know what you're on about. And they're like, instead of saying no, 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 no. And then if they say no, then you can talk about it because it means there's some misunderstanding somewhere. But sometimes the amount of guys who think the wives know everything that's been said, and even my wife has told me, she said, I could probably understand 80% of what you're saying, but I still don't know 100%. And I don't know not even 5% of what she's saying in Thai because I can't speak Thai because it's very, very difficult. But that's my 2025 thing to myself, is to try and learn a bit more Thai. So I've sent away for a couple of books. So hopefully this time next year, I should be able to speak a little bit more Thai. Hopefully. So anyway, fingers crossed, and I'll let you know. Ricky in Isan, he recommended a book, and he gets nothing from it. So he's got no financial gain from recommending this book, and it's Learn to Read Thai in 10 Days. So I've sent away for that book, all because of his recommendations. And it's like everything else. If you go by people's recommendations, then you can't go far wrong, can you? Because if somebody's recommending it, then it must be worth getting or buying or something like that. So I'm going to give that a go, see where we go from there. Okay, I'll go back in the comments. Hang on, it's just scrolled up now. Let's have a look. The UK will be one of them different culture countries in less than 50 years. And I understand that. I believe that because I remember watching a documentary quite a while ago where there's things I can say on YouTube and there's things I can't say on YouTube. And, you know, YouTube are very, very hot on things. So we all know about the people that we're talking about. And he says, like, English people have 1 or 2 kids. He says, we have 12 kids. Our kids will have 12 kids. Our kids will have 12 kids. So by the laws of mathematics, this other popular religion will also be the leading demographic. So Little England will be Little England. It'll be called by something else in 50 years' time. And I think that will happen as well. I think there's going to be a lot of trouble going in the next 1 or 2 years with, if they all start, how can I put this politely? If they all start being mischievous in the whole of Europe and England, who's going to fight them off? And there's going to be more of them creating mischief than there is of us trying to stop them from committing mischief. And they will rule by fear. I'll say no more. Again, I'll come on to this when I have me when I have me video, and it'll probably get demonetized because of what I've got to say. But I do feel strongly about it because I think that the British public are being taken as suckers. It's just like everybody complains about it, but nothing gets done about it. Absolutely nothing is getting done about it. Getting PlayStations, getting free driving lessons, getting Pilates lessons, getting yoga lessons, all for free to stop them from being bored. Yep. What about giving all of these free lessons to the homeless that we have an hour? I used to have a building. It was called the HIMO, House of Multiple Occupation, and the rules and regulations that I had to abide by, so I could have social people that were on social benefits living in my HIMO, House of Multiple Occupation. Now, I would imagine all my tenants, although my house was top notch, it really was, but was absolutely trashed by these people. They would sooner live in a 4-star hotel than living in a house of multiple occupation. So why don't we put all of these newbies coming to our country in the houses of multiple occupation, and put all of these people that were in there in the 4-star hotel? Put our own people in 4-star hotels. Let's make it a start. Okie dokie. It really grinds me because I'm a news person and I see it every day. And I've got to say, I do like Donald Trump, what he's doing, what he's saying. He's saying what the people want him to say. And that's why people resonate with him. And he does what he threatens. What he threatens, he does, and he carries it out. EU is dead, Les, and we know that. Yeah, EU is again, they have their problems as well. Yeah, UK is an island and we are being invaded by small boats. Maybe it's the Germans should have done that in the Second World War, invaded by little black boats, and they would have got in, wouldn't they? Our demographic is dying out. It's normal. It has happened previously and it will happen again. Well, I slightly disagree with that because Britain has always been Britain. We haven't been anything else but British. But I understand your sentiment of what you're saying. Why are you worried about what's going on in the UK? I live in Thailand. I have no interest anymore. Because I've still got family and friends who live in the UK, and it's hard to say. I've got 2 daughters that live in the UK, and so it's still got some interest in what's going on in there. I'm married to a Filipina. I only had to look at her, and she got pregnant. Luckily, we stopped at 4. Now we are out here in the Philippines because the cost of living was stupid, and I was on a decent wage. Yeah. You must have some very attractive eyes then. Give them nothing. Yeah, give them nothing. Are you a racist, Les? No, not at all. Absolutely not at all. I'm not a racist. I point out what I can see. And to be honest, to be brutally and utterly honest, I don't blame them for doing what they're doing. I absolutely do not blame them for doing what they're doing. If I was offered the same deal and the same lucrative thing, I'd be there as well. If I lived in one of these countries that wasn't a very nice country, when all's said and done, I live in Thailand because Thailand gives me a better standard of life than it does in the UK. I could not have that vista in my price range living in the UK. If I wanted to live in a semi-remote area, only 5 minutes drive from a beautiful beach, I couldn't afford to live there. But in Thailand, I can. So I have looked outside of the box, and I have found a better location than where I am living. And I've got to say, all of those people that are entering on rubber boats are looking for that also. And the UK is giving in bucket loads, buckets and spades as well. So I don't blame them for doing it. And I really can't blame anybody for doing it. So no, I'm not, I wish everybody happiness and success, as long as they treat other people with respect as well. And that's for everybody, no matter what creed, color, race, religion you are. What we need is a Trump. Can you see Stammer doing that? Can you see him really getting angry and saying this? I can't. There's probably only Nigel Farage that I could actually see him, standing up for that type of thing, but who knows? I'm going to stir the pot. Honestly, what other people's thoughts on Trump? Apparently, immigration is on everyone's mind. Of course, everybody is the same. £40,000 a year, £40,000 a year for one person. For one person, the average cost. And how many people are on £40,000 a year on a living wage? This is without, everything else they get as well. 40,000, and they're coming over in the boatloads almost every day. So for every 20 people, that's £1 million a year. £1 million a year for every. It's crazy, isn't it? We just can't. The UK will go bankrupt before it happens. Retired on the beach. I like retired on the beach. He's married to a Thai. You couldn't make it up. Trump might save the way. Well, somebody has to stand up, doesn't it? And maybe he's not the perfect guy, but I think he's more perfect than other people. But that's American politics. I'm not going to get involved in American politics because I'm not an American. Because I don't want to see my country I don't want to see it destroyed, but it's going that way, and we sort of self-detonating ourselves, and I like the wokeness. That was one of the absolutely key things that Trump did in my mind for wokeness, because I'll give you a story. Here we go. And I got hauled into the office for doing this. This was a number of years ago. And I've got nothing against women or anybody, but I believe in, you want the right person to do the right job, and employing the right person to do the right job, no matter what gender they are. If they can do everything that's required, that's the right person for the job. A number of years ago, we got inspected by the fire brigade's inspectorate, and he came down and he said we were underrepresented by women and ethnic minority groups. So we had to have positive discrimination days where we discriminated men from coming in and trying out for the fire brigade, and we just had women. We had a women's only day. So we went down to the scrapyard and we were cutting cars up, and they called the jaws of life. They are bloody big heavy things, but sometimes you got to hold them up at that type of angle. And the ladies like struggling, and they couldn't get it up. So they couldn't get the machine operating. So I was ordered to hold the machine while she pressed the button to close the jaws or open the jaws. So that sort of peed me off a little bit. I'm thinking, now it's I can press the button, I can cut it, and it does pull and it twists you, but I'm holding it so she can press the button. So now it takes two persons to do that one job. I've been to many, many house fires where I've had to kick the door in. At the time, I was like 16, 17 stone, so not many doors stood in my way. So getting some young petite girl who probably only weighs about 10 stone to kick a door in is never going to happen. So we had our talk, and we had this this women's rights things who was talking to us at the fire station. We were all sat there in our best bib and tucker with the ties on and being polite, and and this woman says there should be more women in the fire brigade. And I stuck my hand up and I said, "Oh, excuse me." I said, "Okay, answer me this one question. As a taxpayer, as a member of the public that maybe one day will call out the fire service to come and rescue me from a car crash or a burning building, I want some big airy-ass firefighter that can hold the machine and operate the machine, one person. And the same person, if I'm trapped in a burning building, will kick the door in and carry a 17-stone guy down the stairs and not even think twice about it." I said, some of the ladies that we've had here can't hold the machine, can't kick the... Well, she said there's a place for everybody in the fire brigade, and I agree with that. The women have sympathy, that have a caring nature and things like that. They might be able to do some things better than a guy can, but when it's needed, they can't match up to a guy. And that's not being racist, or it's not being sexist. I want the right person to do the right job. And as soon as the lady went from this women's rights thing, I was hauled into the office and told under no uncertain terms to readdress my thinking of not having ladies in the fire brigade. I was absolutely bollocked. And I went out of the office like with my tail between my legs. I'm thinking, oh, well, let's just knock my possibilities up in promotion. But I did get promoted later on because I always think outside of the box. Right person for the right job, whether it's a man or it's a woman, if the person can do the job satisfactory and the same standards as everybody else, there's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, that's my wokeness talk out a bit. If the UK doesn't get migrants to the UK, we'll run out of money. The UK needs migrants because the birth rate has already reached a point of no return. Stammer is scared of that vote because they are the key voters, not British. Yeah. Again, all of these are the same. Absolutely spoken with the words of wisdom. Respect to you, Les. Thanks very much for that. A time when we would break down the door, no problem. They are strong. They are very, very strong. The Thai ladies. You don't want to upset a Thai lady. I had a little petite girlfriend. Again, I've done another video with this, living with a violent girlfriend. My first full-time partner over here, she was a little sweet angel. Everybody thought butter wouldn't melt in the mouth. But when she came at me with a meat cleaver 3 times, hit me with lumps of 2B2, threw electric planes down and just narrowly missed me head. She was a little firecracker when she got angry, and it was me going to the police to tell the police to tell her to stop hitting me, because I would never ever lay a finger on a lady. And I was covered in bloods down my arms, and walking into a police station with blood coming from my head and my arms. And the policeman said, "Do you want me to arrest? Do you want me to arrest?" I said, "No, I don't. I said, just want you to tell her to stop it." But again, that's a video. If you want to have a look at that, living with a violent Thai girlfriend, go and have a look at that video. And again, nice little angel looking, but once you get them angry, boy, can they wreak their revenge. Positive discrimination, we will accept any old crap over there. Person best suited to do the job. All the time, you want the right person to do the right job at the right time. Again, I can't really go into the other story of having the ethnic minority group, because then the censorship on YouTube would come in, type of thing. But that didn't end well either. Just a quick little snippet of that. When I went to training school to be a firefighter, I had to pass everything. If I didn't pass one of the exams, I was finished. You had 2 attempts at the exams, and if you didn't pass the second time, you were finished. You never even got out of training school. This particular individual, he left training school with the words requires more training, on station training. So he didn't pass all of the exams. He didn't pass every test he had to do at training school. So he came into the fire station, and then within 1 day of him starting, everybody knew he left training school with their extra training needs required. And like us, normally you would never get out of the training school because you would never ever finish training school. But this individual was left training school with a note saying it requires extra on station training, and this just went on for a while. And he milked that system. He milked the card that he could use. And do you know something? He got promoted. He got promoted into a position that he didn't have to go on the fire ground. Yep. Do you do anything about the deadline for the tax return? No, I'm still not worried about the taxes at all. Here we are now in February, and the deadline is March, isn't it? And they still haven't come up with the answers over a year. But I did talk to a tax expert. There's one going on. I forget what they call him now. He advertising on Facebook and on YouTube and things like that. And I had a 15-minute consultation with him that only lasted 10 minutes. And basically, he said, because I was on a pension from the government because I worked in the fire service, I would be not required to fill in tax forms, so I wouldn't need to get a tax identification number. And I said, are you 100% sure on that? And he said, well, I'm 90% sure. So still not 100% sure, but 90% is good enough for me. So no, I'm not worried about the tax. I'm not worried about what's going on. When it does come out, it'll be big news, and it'll be all over Facebook. It'll be all over YouTube. It'll be all over everywhere. So just wait until that happens. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If you're like me, you haven't done anything with regard to tax or anything else like that, what they're going to do, they're going to fine you for not paying your taxes on time when they haven't even made their mind up when you have to pay. There'll be some arrangement where if you need to pay tax, you'll be given a certain amount of time to pay taxes. But I can't see it happening because I think they'll just shoot themselves in the foot by doing it. And I think they're just trying to get out of it and thinking, how can we best get out of this without upsetting everybody? They're trying to encourage people into this country, and by saying they're going to tax you when you come into this country, well, people are just going to go somewhere else, Vietnam, Cambodia, or Laos. So, yeah, again, don't worry about it. See what happens. And when it does happen, you'll hear about it because everybody will be talking about it. My missus is small, but my God, she can work. She would work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. She could ties. They are grafters, as they employ his mum and dad in the late 60s. They put me to shame. I did the video, and I was picking tomatoes. One of the members of staff didn't turn up, so I just said, "Well, I've got nothing to do. I'll give you a hand picking tomatoes." And I had to walk up and down the furrows. They were collecting the tomatoes in the bucket. I was going along with the basket. They were emptying their buckets into my basket. I walked to the end of the furrow, put them in another basket. How hard is that? Whoa. Boy, it nearly killed me. I mean, somebody was on about earlier on about, can I stand the heat? And the heat is very, very strong out there. And there was no shade, and it nearly killed me for that one day. And the photographs say it all. So have a look at that video. It's maybe 2 videos ago that are published. And but it's working hard in the fields over here. I take my hat off to the Thai people because it is punishing the heat over here. So I take my hat off to all Thai people. They work seriously hard. There's a lot of them don't, but there's more that do than don't. Everyone watch what happens with Doge. Somehow it will affect us all. The gift is boundless and global, and it is nothing to do with the good of the people. Yeah, but I've got to say, when I've seen some of the news things on about what America is paying for, it's unbelievable. $100 million for condoms for Afghans or something like that. $100 million for condoms. to hold a gay and lesbian event in a Muslim country or something like that. That was £250,000 for that. It's just wow. The wastage is just incredible. Saw your video for a while ago about your autistic nephew. What has happened since? I can go on and on and on about that. He's still suffering verbal attacks on him, even though they've moved him somewhere else. For those people who don't know, my sister's got an autistic son. He's 32 now, I think he is, but he's suffered terribly with the system, and he's always been let down. And even in the past week, he's got people who took care of his money. He's been put into like a sheltered accommodation where he has carers, and but so many times he's asked for help for his mental attitude or mental awareness, and people have said okay, and they've done nothing about it, absolutely nothing about it. He'd asked for a certain amount of money because he's going on holiday with his mum. He's asked for a certain amount of money a week ago and said it'll be there Friday. This was last Friday, a week Friday ago, and he said if it isn't there Friday, it'll be there Monday. Monday didn't turn up, so my nephew's been ringing him all the time. Where's my money? Where's my money? Where's the money? Voicemail. And for somebody who suffers from autism and things like that, anything, little thing can turn into a big drama, and it affects your mental attitude. And the feeling of being let down by the system all the time doesn't help. So sadly, thanks very much for asking. My nephew is still going through a hard time, and but that's the system, isn't it, in the UK? Les, do you think you could make money with a good sized fruit from the Thailand? Looking to buy one of them when it comes out to live. I think it's difficult. Farmers don't make a lot of money over here. I did in the last video, I think, in one of the videos, saying the farmers are the hardest working people, but they get the least reward, because it's all the other people like you sell it to. They're making money for doing not as hard work, like collecting and delivering. It isn't as hard as my wife stayed another 2 weeks at the in-laws, because the grandma died, so they didn't have 5 days on the field cutting the sugar cane. So my wife volunteered to say that I'll help you cut the sugar cane down. So that's all handwork for 5 days. For a week, my wife helped cut the sugar cane. Bloody hard work, really, really hard work, and very, very little rewards in it. But then it goes on to the transport, then it goes on to the refineries, then it goes on to the supermarket. So everybody's making a little bit of money as it goes until the end product is sold to the consumer. But the person who works the hardest is the farmer, that's for sure. But everybody else gets a bigger cut of the lion's share than the farmers. Farmers around the world, I think, don't get their just rewards, because everybody's trying to cut them to the bone to get nothing. There are Thais here repairing the sidewalks in Hua Hin during the day in the heat and humid. Again, people have asked me to do a video on what I don't like about Thailand, and I've got to say I'm adapted. I'm tolerant of everything that is not perfect in Thailand, but I will make a video about the things that I not necessarily don't like, but I put up with. And sidewalks and walkways is one of them things. Thailand is not pedestrian friendly at all. And if they're not pedestrian friendly, then they certainly are not disabled people friendly, and wheelchairs or walking difficulties and things like that. You can have so many accidents on the sidewalks in Thailand. If you manage to get a sidewalk, it's very, very poorly maintained. And I take my hat off to them if they are fixing the sidewalks in Hua Hin. There's a lot of money in Hua Hin. It's quite an affluent area, so it should sort of be top notch, if you like. I just think that the sidewalks and the paths that they have in England are perfect, with drop curbs everywhere. You know, they do a good job with regard to mobility and moving around in the UK, and Thailand could take, you know, an example of that and actually do something about it. The walkways are one of the things that are not very good at all in Thailand. I would agree with that. Would not believe a word that comes out of Trump's mouth. He's a 77-year-old man going potty. Well, a lot of people believed in him because a lot of people voted for him. But again, I'm not going into politics with Trump and Biden and things like that, because we have enough trouble in our own country with stammer. Crazy. So, okay, what else are we going to be talking about? What's happening in Thailand? For those people that are coming to Thailand, as from the 1st of May, apparently there's a new, let me turn this banner off. Oh, before I turn the banner off, as I say, for those people who are interested in meeting girlfriends and things like that in the Hua Hin area, I had a live stream a couple of weeks ago with Cameron, and that was from Thai Lady Matchmaker. Have a look on his Facebook profile. He's having an event on the 15th to 17th of February. So anybody's invited to come along for there. And it's just emailed Cameron saying, Hua Hin, it's over 15th to the 17th of February. And there's going to be a number of ladies there aged from 42 to 55. So if you want to go to that event, have a word with Cameron, send him an email, and he'll be able to point you in the right direction. So the email is at the bottom of the scrolling across. So I'll take that off in a couple of minutes or so. So if you want to know, write it down and send him an email. If you want to meet somebody that's not through the internet dating and things like that in Hua Hin, and let me know how it goes. And I hope everything goes okay with that. Okay, so turn that off. There we go. Back to comments. So that's my little shout out. So anyway, with the TM6, remember a while ago, everybody used to have to fill in a TM6 on the plane. You never had a pen, then you had to fill it in, and you give all the information about you, where you're going to go, blah, blah, blah. And the Thai government paused that TM6, which was, in my mind, fantastic, because it was a bit of paper or a bit of card that we all filled in, and it probably just got stuck in some big warehouse somewhere. Everybody felt better that they didn't have to do it, because when all said and done, all the details are on your passport when you're coming in. And now, anyway, apparently they're trying to reinvent the TM6, and instead of filling the card in, you've got to do it online, and you won't be eligible to enter Thailand unless you've filled in the TM6. So when you fill out various paperwork about coming to Thailand, it'll say, have you filled in the TM6? But they reckon there's going to be a lot of teething problems in the first 6 to 12 months. And I think everything worked well whilst they didn't do it. So they're on about bringing that back in on May the 1st, but it'll be online, and you've got to fill it out online before you actually come to Thailand. So let's hope that they have another rethink. It's not been made official yet. It hasn't gone in the Thai, the Gazette. It's only when it goes into the Thai Gazette it's made official. So let's hope they have see sense over it and thinking, well, that's just going to put people off, or it's another piece of paperwork that's needlessly required. And let's hope that they put that into the file under BIN. But who knows? Let's see what happens. But that's just another, bureaucracy thing that you have to do. You can still get your 60 days entry coming into Thailand. Then you can extend that for 30 days, which is fantastic. So altogether, you can get 90 days in Thailand, 3 months. That would suit the majority of people, 3 months, to be able to live here 90 days. And then you can go do a trip to Cambodia or Laos or something like that. And you come back, starts all over again. So you get another 60 days, then another 30 days. So there's 180 days on just one little trip to Cambodia for the day, or even just an hour where you get off, you go through immigration, you come back and you jump on the minivan and you come back to wherever you've come from. It's so easy. That the visa system here in Thailand, it is not difficult at all. The difference between pavements in 2020 when I come out to work Bangkok to now, it's like night and day, but it's still not good enough. Yeah, I mean they are trying to improve it, but yeah. Les, do you enjoy Songkran? I do. I love Songkran. When I was in my fire brigade days, my watch was nicknamed the Water Babies, because when we were on duty on a Saturday was washing the fire engine, big wash of the fire engines and the floor of the fire station. So there was always a lot of water involved, and at the end of the day, we used to have a water fight as well. So, but again, in the days of wokeness, towards the end of it, even that was stopped because somebody could have an injury, and we did have slips, trips, and falls, I think, but they put an end to that. Any water fighting or any mischievous behavior. We used to switch all the lights off in the station and have booby traps with water bombs and things like that. We did all sorts of things with water. But yeah, in the days before I left, we lived in a sit there, wrap us up in cotton wool because we can't do anything in case we have an accident. Playing football, playing volleyball, the risk assessment involved for every single thing that you did. There was a risk assessment required. And to be fair, some of them were valid, but others were just stupid. But yeah, Songkran, we're going down to Bangkok this year for Songkran. We went to Pattaya last year for Songkran. Wow, it just brilliant. So we're going to Bangkok for Songkran. And my wife's there's 3 or 4 days that the event on music festivals, but with them, they are the Thailand's top bands. And you have to pay to get in to see them. So Ployd's going to have a look at which day she wants to go, and then we'll make our move and go down for that day. I think it's to go and see 3 of the top bands on one of the days is about 40 or 50 quid each, but it's in a controlled area. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, Songkran over here is fantastic, full of happy people, and everybody's soaking wet. It's basically another visa with another name, TM6 ETA, goodbye visa waiver. Well, as I said, it is Thailand. Let them do what they want to do. Just go with the flow. It's never impossible. It might be a little bit, extra more paperwork to do, but nothing in Thailand is complicated and is never impossible. Never ask for something that you cannot give. What's the biggest mouse you've ever seen over there, and have you ever encountered any snakes? I've never seen any mice, but I've seen a few rats, and I've seen a few big rats in Bangkok. Just unbelievable. Fly. Just get them to put it next to the gate because it'll be heavy. That's me. Solar batteries just arrived. So the solar gel lead acid battery is very, very heavy. So my wife's just going to pay for that and just put it near the gate. So again, I've done a video on my solar because a few things went wrong with my solar, if you like, and the video is about don't make the solar mistakes that I've made. And although I'm a fully qualified electrician, the solar side of it is a little bit different to like the normal electrics. And even I'm still learning on all of this lot. So it sounds, I mean, solar, you think it's electrics. Electrics is the same, whether it's like a normal house electric, solar electrics, or industrial electrics. But no, they're all different. And I'll go on to that a little bit later. But yeah, that's me new solar battery coming, 3,500 baht. But it's a big heavy thing. But yeah, have a look at my solar power. I'm impressed with the solar. The reason why solar doesn't work in Thailand, the electricity is so cheap, but I like tinkering around, and it gives me something to do. and I see the results of it also. And I save a little bit of money on it as well, not a lot. A girl with learning difficulties asked a guy masquerading as a woman on a football field if she got banned for yeah, again, wokeness. You know, getting put in jail for writing something that's not very nice compared to some of the people that they're released, so you could be put in jail. Thank Blight. The ambush farangs here during Songkrans. Who ambushes people during Songkran? The ladies ambush people, yes. On all the soy 7 and soy 8 is probably the two best soys for Songkran in Pattaya. Absolutely brilliant, really is good. I grew up in England in the 60s and 70s. What fantastic times they were. Wish we could get them back. Thailand does remind me of a little of these times in parts of Thailand. Yeah, I grew up in the 60s and 70s in South Bank, which was not a very nice place. It was a poor place because my family was poor. My dad worked in the steelworks and my mother worked at Welford's Bakeries, baking bread and cakes on a night time. So yeah, we grew up poor. We only ever had one holiday, but as a child, I had a fantastic time going into scrapyards, getting bikes and fixing bikes, making go-karts and things like that, playing under the bridges with tarsies and swings, going newting, you know, catching newts in the streams and things like that. No such things as rubber rings, but rubber inner tubes from tractors and from, you know, cars and things like that. That was your swim. That was your floaty devices. Going down to Redcar Beach, Cadonas, which was like an amusement park. It was fantastic. You know, as a child growing up, I can't complain. The 60s and 70s and 80s was a fantastic time, I think. And all those people should appreciate that. Growing up now as a child is very difficult. Again, you know, people just on the phones all the time, you know, PlayStations, phones. Families giving the kids, when they take them out for a meal, a PlayStation or not a PlayStation, an iPad or a phone to keep them quiet while they have a meal together. And this is the time you're supposed to have a conversation, not for the kids to keep them shut up playing on the phones. The art of communication is gone. Sitting and talking to other people, you know, compared to people on the telephone now on the tables, it's audible. I had a word with my daughters once a number of years ago, and I got told off by my daughters for even mentioning it. It was the fact that I only met them for 2 hours, and I said, "Come on, kids, put your phone away." "Oh, yeah, but it's important. I've got my friends." I said, "Yeah, but I'm only here for 2 hours." I said, "Then you're going to go and meet your friends." So I said, "At least have some time." "Oh, you're just whinging and moaning and groaning about us being on the phone." I said, "No," I said, "I want to have a conversation with you." I said, "Without, oh, hang on a minute, Dad, ding, 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 ding." I said, "Because when you're answering somebody and I'm talking to you and your sister, then Alice will get something like ding, ding." So I said, 2 hours is going to go by like that and we won't have any conversation. So stuffed it in the bag, and they weren't very happy. Not very nice kids, to be honest. Merck, see you, Les. Thanks for chatting. Thanks very much for joining. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for coming on to the live stream and having a look. Terry Stammer giving Brits money. I don't think he's taking money off him. He isn't giving anybody any money. You never finished the question about the mice. Oh, the snake. Oh, yeah. Big rights. Sorry, I went off on a tangent, didn't I? Yes, we've seen snakes. We've had 2 snakes in the house, only small. One grass snake and one rat snake. Only small, though. I've seen some bigger snakes around the house, outside the house. But if you're making enough noise and you're in and out all day, the snakes stay away from you. But they are there. We've seen some big snake skins on the wall at the back of the house. So they are about. In the 13 years that I've lived here in Thailand, I've never seen a cobra, never want to see one. If you see a snake, always take big steps in the opposite direction. If you don't bother them, they won't bother you. But keep your zone around your house tidy so the snakes can't find a hiding space. That's any rubbish or any pots or pans or, empty flower pots and things like that, because they will make a home. We have our sofa just so you can't see it. But every night we take the cushions in so no snake comes up and think, oh, this is a nice little hidey space behind the cushions. So it's just taking extra precautions. But no, the snakes that we got in the house, one was a really, really thin snake, and it slid underneath the back door. So I just put some dust strips or brush strips at the bottom of the door so no creepy crawlies can get in, no insects and no snakes, that's for sure. We have a mosquito net on the front door. It's a magnetic close, so it just closes up and it goes right to the floor so no creepy crawlies or lizards can sneak in. We have a door on the back which has a mosquito screen, same thing, so we can have the front and the back door open so we have a draft around the house, but no snakes and creepy crawlies can get in. So mice, mice and rats are probably everywhere. Lizards, geckos, you can't get away from them. They're everywhere. But yeah, thanks for, sorry that I went off on a tangent. Yeah, so snakes, you don't have a big problem with snakes and that around, especially where we live anyway. Although we live in the country and we have big lakes at the back of there, wherever there's water, there's all sorts of animals. So the snakes are really in there, because where there's water, there's frogs and there's lizards and things like that. So the snakes have plenty of food. I've seen 2 monitor lizards while I've been here. One of them came into the garden next door, just there. But when it seen me, it just shot off in the opposite direction again. There can be like very, very big. I've only seen small monitor lizards here where we live, but I've seen a couple of big ones while I've been driving around. People don't talk to each other. They sit with their mobile phone in a restaurant. We don't get the mobile. The only time we take a mobile phone out and we take a picture when Play wants to post a picture of where we've been or what we've done, and then it's back in the bag. We're old fashioned. We have a conversation. We talk to each other. Retired, don't give up. Hi, good afternoon, David. How are you? I seen your video on the food tasting and things like that. Thai food is amazing, isn't it? And it's amazing how a Penang curry or a green curry can taste different everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, there's a peculiar taste to it, and they have their own ways of making it. Thai food is beautiful. I love the Thai food here. I think I love Thailand more than the wife, and she is Thai. Funny that, isn't it? But I think it's because they earns really good money here in England. Yeah, again, a lot of Thai people who go to England or America not like it because they earn 4 or 5 times more than what they could earn in Thailand, and they send that money home. Cheers, Andrew. I think Les has missed the question so far. Oh, sorry. What question have I missed? It just sometimes I give a long-winded answer, don't I? And so I might miss some questions. So I apologize for missing. Just if you put a Q at the beginning of it, a capital Q, then I can see it's a question, because trying to read through there and talk as well at the same time. I'm not a woman. I can't do 2 things at the same time. So yeah, what was the question? What was the question I missed? Andrew. Greetings from Bangkok. Hello. He's busy, Terry. Retired don't. It truly was delicious. Oh, the food. Yeah, Retired Don't Give Up. We did us, my friend Dave from Canada. We did a joint live stream. One day for me, for my English viewers, and then the second day for his Canadian viewers. So that's on the live streams. If you have a look at that, Retired Don't Give Up. And he's only been here a year, so have a look at his channel. He does various things. So if you want to ask him, like, I've been here 13 years, so I'm sort of long in the tooth. I've got got the t-shirt as well, retired and living the dream. So Dave is a newbie, so you can ask him what mistakes he's made, and as a new person coming to Thailand, what was his thoughts and processes, and why did he pull the trigger and make the move from Canada over to here. So that's Dave. He's amenable. He'll tell you everything and anything that you want to know. So have a look at his channel, Retired, Don't Give Up. A nice guy. Hi, Scott. Yeah, hey, Retired, hope your Canada rules. Question, okay. The question was, hypothetically, if Stammer offered to triple your pension, but you had to move back to the UK, would you do it? Sorry, it just flipped up at that. No, I wouldn't. If he said to me, I'll take your pension off you if you stay in Thailand, I'd say, see you later, because I've got enough to live on here without the pension. So no, I wouldn't. There is absolutely no way, absolutely no, I cannot think of one reason why I'd move back to the UK. And I've said on other live streams and videos that I've made, if I get a terminal illness, I won't even go back to England to be treated. If I get diagnosed with a terminal illness here in Thailand, I'll see my days out here, and that will be the view. The sun comes up there on the morning. I have a settee, watching that and most mornings I'm sat there watching the sunrise, having me cup of coffee, and for me it's magic. And if I've got a terminal illness, why would I want to go back to England to suffer the treatments to maybe prolong my life for a little while whilst I'm not, and every single day and month that I'm not here in Thailand, I would miss it. And most people have commented on the videos that I've made back in the UK. I look more miserable back in the UK than I do here in Thailand. And they can see a physical well-being look when I come back to Thailand. And I will never, ever, ever go back to the UK for nothing, for no treatments or whatever. I'm 64-year-old. I'm going to die one day. Hopefully I can live as long as I can, hopefully within good health and things like that. But if anything terminal comes along, my days are staying here. So I hope that answers your question. I don't care. They're going to freeze my pension anyway. I know that for sure, 100% for sure. But that will give me my holiday money, and that's all it's going to be used for, is holiday. And if I lived in the UK, that would be used for so many things to try and afford to live in the UK, where here I can have fun with it. In England, I couldn't. Okay. Coming March the 10th, Thailand. Can't wait for a holiday. Yeah, March the 10th. That's only just around the corner, isn't it? Good for you. Question, have you heard the expression snowbirding? Yes, I have, where people disappear for the winter. I can understand that, and many people do that. And I was going to be one of them snowbirds. In my early days, when I looked at various things, I always used to like the holiday programs, you know, Michael Palin. I always followed him. Loved Wicked's World in my younger days, and you'll have to be born in the 60s and 70s to understand Wicked's World. What was the other holiday with Frank Boff? And so they always interested me. And when I seen it in the papers where you could have 6 weeks in Spain, you know, during the winter months, full bar, and I think, well, I'll be into that. I'll be into that when I get older. So yes, snowbirds. Go where it's nice and warm. No need to feel cold. First cup of coffee in the morning is the best of all day. I'd agree with that one. Thanks, Les. The answer has convinced me to book a ticket using sitting in the fence for a few years. Do you wish you could have moved to Thailand sooner? Not really, because I retired at 50. And I traveled the world for almost 2 years. And then I split up with my Chinese wife. And that's what sort of convinced me to go move to Thailand. We split up on the Boxing Day. And by New Year's Eve, I was here in Thailand 13 years ago. But I had so much, I love traveling around the world. And if I was still with my Chinese wife, if she liked it, But funny enough, she said to me, I'm sick of traveling around the world. How many other women would say I'm sick of traveling around the world? She said, I'm sick of living out of a suitcase, because we went to so many places on our travel around the world. It was amazing. And I said to her, I said, you can live anywhere in the world, but you want to move back to Redcar and you want to go back to the coffee shop that I met you in. And you want to, she said, yeah, all my friends and you know, are back in Redcar. I want to go and do that. I said, well, I don't. So we sort of split up from then. And then, like a woman scorned, you know, she sort of, you know, hackles went up and, oh, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to get you this and that and the other. Even though her only contribution for 2 years of traveling around the world was £1,800 and I paid for everything else. She was still a woman, you know. She said I abandoned her. Anyway, that's another video, isn't it? But yeah, do what you want to do, because it's your life. You only have the one life to lead. So you need to go and do it. You need to go and do what you want to do. So don't sit in the fence. At least get over the fence and go and have a look. Because if you like it, then you can say, well, okay, I'm going to go and do it. Don't become one of the OMYs. And I've spoken to many OMYs. What's OMY people saying? It's 1 more year. So many on 1 more year, I'm going to work and I'm going to retire. Or 1 more year, I'm going to retire. Do it now. You don't need a lot of money. You can live in Thailand. You don't have to live in Thailand, obviously, but in Thailand, you can live here on £1,000 a month. And I've showed it to several guys, and they've came over here to have a look, and I've shown them, this is what you can live. This is where you can live. This is the lifestyle you're going to have. And on £1,000 a month, he still had £200 spare. And that's taking care of your medical, that's taking care of your visa, taking care of all your food, taking care of all your accommodation. And when everything was totted up, he could still save £200 a month. Where else in the world can you do that? Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos perhaps, India maybe. But there are plenty of places where your pound or your dollar goes further than your country. And I would suggest people just to go and have a look. If you're on a limited budget, limited means, you need to look outside of the box. Party is 17th of March. There's a party in Pattaya every day. Les is coming to my party. I'll come to anybody's party. Okay, a question here. Hi, Les. What's the travel time from Jumbodium to Rayong? About an hour and 20 minutes. No more than an hour and 20 minutes, so it's not too far at all. Again, where I live, for me, it's sort of a perfect location. I came here for 2 weeks and I've spent 10 years here, and I've just loved it. Where we are, we're 3 hours away from Bangkok Centre, 2.5 hours away from Suvarnabhumi Airport, an hour and 20 minutes away from Pattaya, and we still go to Pattaya every now and then because we like the live bands and the music and just the different feeling, because we live in the countryside here, so it's very, very quiet. I'm not a bar person anyway, so I can live without the bars, but occasionally it's nice to let your hair down when we meet friends, or we have met quite a few people in Pattaya who've come across as newbies and they don't know the score, and we've sort of helped them find their way, if you like. And we do stuff like that, you know, and it's just nice to be able to help other people. So Pattaya, again, an hour and 20 minutes away, 3 hours away from Koh Chang, which is a beautiful tropical island, and Koh Kud, probably one of the best beautiful islands up north where we are, and 30 minutes away from Koh Samet. I took a couple of friends over to Koh Samet last week. They've gone back to the Philippines now, and they loved it. You know, it was really, really nice. It was just nice. Where I live, I can't complain. It's a beautiful location. Traveling good, but it can become a lonely existence. It's nice to have roots, make friends, get to know the area. I agree with it. I mean, when I went around the world with the wife, and I know we split up, but we had some good times and we had a lot of bad times as well. when you're looking at the Grand Canyon, saying it to yourself, wow, this is beautiful, but saying it to your partner and say, wow, this is beautiful, and somebody saying, yes, it is, it pleased me because it also showed her there's a different part to living in life as well. Sat in Cockleshell Bay in Sydney at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when all the suited and booted multimillionaires going back to the office, and I had another beer, and I'm just a normal everyday working guy. But I was sat in Cockleshell Bay when everybody else was working. They might have millions of dollars, but I was sat there having another beer at 2 o'clock because I could. So there's little things like that. You get out of life what you put into it. If you give nothing into it, you're not going to get nothing back. So enjoy the time whilst you're going around the world, and look at different people. I talk to any and everybody because everybody has a story. And some people have inspired me and led me to where I am today. And other people have had the opposite effect, thinking, I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk to people like that. I met some good people and I met some bad people, but I haven't got a bad word to say about anybody because we're all different. If we were all the same, it'd be a boring world. I came to Bangkok age 66 from the UK 18 months ago, and like you, I would never return to the miserable, gloomy UK. It's a difficult decision to make, but once you are here, it's wonderful. Yeah, it is it's a massive decision to make. And again, I take my hat off to anybody that pulls the trigger and actually makes the move over to here or anywhere in the world, because it's a big, big, big decision. Retired 1 month ago, started selling everything. I live in Norway and want to move to Thailand in the summer. The plan is to live in the country. Yeah, again, 50-50, find out where you like living. You don't always have to live here full time. You can live 50% in your home country if you can afford to do it, that is. I mean, Norway is quite an expensive place to live. But if you can afford to do it, do it. It's your choice at the end of the day, isn't it? You do whatever you want to do. I was in Sri Lanka, loved it, and it was cheap. But if you are looking for a woman, not sure it is the place. Again, I understand with that as well. Being in a relationship is good as well, and it has its ups and it has its downs. Having a relationship with a Thai person, cultural differences, wow, that is a steep learning, or can be a steep learning curve. So again, I say this, I'm not marriage expert. I've been married 4 times, so how can I tell you about relationships? But the only thing I can say is that I know what I don't want, and I won't put up with stuff that I don't want. And but Thai ladies are totally different to Western ladies, and I'll just leave it at that. And you can draw your own conclusions about that. But I'm happy. I've got to say, my 4th wife is probably the best wife I've ever had in my life. She's kind, considerate, courteous, and respectful. And that's just a bad point. Question. You available for a day to show us Rayong, looking at coming over April and May? Time for a couple of weeks. Of course I am. Yeah, we do offer that type of service. We've got a couple coming over in March, and they're thinking of living here for a year and then deciding whether they want to live here full time. Yeah, we do that, and we can show people around. Send me an email. I'll put my email address on there with roughly the dates when you're going to be coming, things like that, and we can arrange something, because as we've lived in this area for a number of years, we know everything about it. And basically what we can do, we help people out, show them the area and what's available for rent in the nice areas. I mean, when I say not so nice areas, it's not a nice area. It's lovely area, but some areas are better than others. So yeah, send me an email. We're picking up a couple in March for a day, and they're staying in a hotel just around the corner from where we are. So showing them all around the area. We'll have coffee at our house, go for a meal, show them some properties that are for rent and for sale and how much this area gives them. Then they get an insight, and it's sort of because they've spent a day with us, because we know it's not just like using an estate agent where they'll just take you to one property. We show you around the area. And if you've got any questions, you know, like if you want seeing a house that you like, you want it around much. My wife, I'll give them a call and do the translation because my wife's very good at English, and she can do all the Thai translations. So yeah, that works. So yeah, send me an email close at the date, and then, you know, give me some time and we can sort something out. Anybody and everybody's welcome to have a cup of coffee on my sofa as well. Anybody in the Rayong area, feel free, pop in, have a cup of coffee. The kettle's always on. Hit the thumbs up, folks. Help Les out. I don't know how many thumbs up we've got there because on StreamYard it doesn't show you thumbs up. But yeah, anybody gives it a thumbs up helps the algorithm. Subscribe for anybody. It all helps the algorithm. Thanks very much for doing that. And again, I like to think that there's no BS and I don't give anybody false information. Everything that are open and honest and above board. Les, did you ever visit a Thai Grand Canyon in Chonburi province? Must visit. Thai Grand Canyon in Chonburi? I've never heard of that one. That's a new one to me. There is a Grand Canyon in Pai. We didn't go to see it because it was just a hole in the ground. When you've seen the real Grand Canyon, everything's just a little hole in the ground, isn't it? The Grand Canyon was fantastic. Really, really beautiful. But yeah, I'm always available to look at different things. And if somebody points me in the right direction, again, we went to a place yesterday where Lucas from Rides for Kicks, he did a video about it. It's right next door to the restaurant. We got the restaurant 3 Tree Beach. And it is literally 100 meters away up the beach. But it's like chalk and cheese. It's so different, so upmarket, so nice. She Sails it is, and it's in Rayong, next to 3 Tree Beach. The food is double the price. The drinks are not quite double the price, but the atmosphere, they had a live band on and a DJ last night. We took some friends because he's just moved over here, or he's in the process of moving over here. So we took it there. It was a beautiful evening. We watched the sun go down. Fantastic. Fan-dabby-dozy. So yeah, we have some beautiful places around here. So yeah, I'll Google that, the Grand Canyon in Chonburi, and I'll have, oh yes, we have been there. Yes, because it's a big lake, isn't it? Yeah, the wife, I remember now. We went there. It's a beautiful greeny coloured lake. It was an old quarry. So yes, we have been there, but it was a number of years ago now. We're going to go to pick me up kettle on later. Got to go. Let's pick me up. Kettle is on. See you next time. Okay, Steve. Thanks for joining. Much appreciated. Retire, don't give up. Les tells it as it is. Got to go, pal. Talk later. Okay, Dave. Thanks much for joining us, and have a good day and have fun. My flight is booked to Thailand end of April. I plan to explore Southeast Asia. Looking forward to it. I hope that we can meet. Yeah, I'm always available. As I say, I like meeting. I talk to everybody. I say hi to everybody that I see, and it's nice because everybody's got a story. Everybody that comes over here from the Western or European countries has a story. You don't just land up here by accident. And I'm for the average everyday working person type thing, you know, who's on maybe limited budget or limited means, not the wealthy guys, because, you know, we move in different circles, and I'm probably not their favorite cup of tea. And I've been told by more wealthy foreigners to leave the Thailand if I can't afford to live in here. And they've had to go at me for helping people out who can navigate the visa, and there's ways around it. And like, if you can't afford to live here, you shouldn't be here. But I think that there's, for every price plan, for every income level, there's a position here in Thailand. Whether you're wealthy or whether you're just to say meet the criteria of staying here, there's a place for you here in Thailand. And so yeah, and the only people that have told me to leave Thailand, never by a Thai person, but always been by a wealthy foreigner. Funny that, isn't it? Because when all said and done, 20 baht to a food trader is still 20 baht, whether I'm a millionaire or whether I'm just living here on a budget. To them, 20 baht is 20 baht. And who are the wealthy foreigners there to say who knows best for Thailand? I shouldn't be living here or whatever. You get what I'm saying. Hotels, rental accommodation, food, restaurants don't care whether you're a multimillionaire or not. They just want you to come and spend the money in their hotels. Where is your hometown in the UK? It was Redcar. Redcar on the northeast coast near Middlesbrough. Everybody should know Middlesbrough because Middlesbrough Football Club. I don't follow football, but Middlesbrough Football Club, 60 miles south of Newcastle. Northeast coast, loved it as a kid growing up. We lived in South Bank, which is about another 10 or 15 miles away from Redcar. And when we moved from South Bank to Redcar, we moved up in the world from a terrace house to a semi-detached house. It was like wonderful. It was still a council house that we lived in Redcar, but we loved it because Redcar was the up and coming place. And, you know, when you lived in a terrace house, moving up market, it was costing us more, funny enough, in the council house than it was in the house that my dad bought in South Bank, which is all gone now. South Bank, all the houses have been knocked down now. Question, can you recommend anywhere to stay in Rayong? Yes, I can recommend a few places. I would say Storage. Look at Stories. Stories is good. It's sort of very close to the centre of Ban Phe. Walking distance sort of into Ban Phe. There's a few local pubs and restaurants close by within walking distance. The beds are super comfortable. It's got a swimming pool there. So that's Stories in Ban Phe. And there's one or two other places. There is a lot of choice in Thailand, not in Thailand, in Rayong. Excuse me. Rayong is actually a big province. So there's Ban Chang, then there's Ban Phe, then it goes up to Melanpun Beach, then there's Swan Son, then there's Lee Mae Pim. So there's lots of choice, and I would just say book a hotel room for a couple of days, have a ride around the area, find out the place that you want to be. But there's another, it's a Thai place, but the studio apartments, stunningly beautiful, probably the best apartments in Ban Phe. And that's about 1,000 baht a night to stay. Maybe 1,200 baht a night now towards the end of high season. But that's right next to a market, walking distance to the centre of Ban Phe. There's plenty of nice places that I can recommend here as well. And there's a few houses coming up for rent as well. So those people who were interested in relocating to Rayong, there's a few houses that our landlady has that are stunningly beautiful, fully furnished, ranging from maybe 8,000 baht a month, 6,000 baht for a one-bedroom studio apartment, up to about 20,000 for a big four-bedroom with a separate annex for like an apartment, beautiful gardens. So yeah, anybody that's thinking of looking at houses in the Rayong area where we live in a beautiful location. There are some houses coming up and they're available to rent for 6 months to a year. So again, just send me an email on this address there if you're looking for houses or property or want to go and rent. And I've helped a few people relocate here, and almost everybody's been very happy here. Some people think it's a little bit remote. We're 15 kilometers away from the town centre, where there's a macro and a lot of shopping. There's a couple of mom and pop shops around from us. We're 5 minutes away from a beautiful beach and two beautiful restaurants. So there's one bar near us if you want to go to a bar, or maybe it's two bars, but we're not bar people anyway. So, and if we do go out drinking, beach barbecues and things like that, we'll park the car up at a resort or somewhere near where I'm the barbecue, and you can get a room for the night for about 500 to 700 baht the night. So don't worry about drinking all day. You just pay 500 to 700 baht for the night, and you go and sleep it off and drive home in the morning. That's better than drinking and driving. But I'm a anti-drinking and driving person anyway. That's one of the other things of Thailand that I don't particularly like, is the amount of people who do drink and drive, because chances of getting caught by a police over here is next to zero. But you have an accident and all hell is let loose. Hello, Les. Have you got any tips reducing the heat inside the hot house? We renovated my wife's house, extensions, carport, western kitchen, but has a tin roof and gets bloody hot. Not in the dry season. Cheap tips. Well, certainly the tin attracts the heat, but on an evening time also it doesn't keep the heat in because the heat escapes through the tin roof as well. Insulation, and I've done a couple of videos. If you can get air movement through your house, we have the front door every single day now. The front door is open and the back door is open, and I fitted a door that fitted on the back because you don't want to have your doors open for creepy crawlies or snakes to come in. So we always have the back door where if we've seen any snakes, they go by the back door. But it's a solid metal door, but with a mosquito net, so the mosquitoes and creepy crawlies don't get in. And we have a magnetic screen, which I fitted, and I did a video about that on the front door. So in the house, we have ventilation all the time. I also fitted an extractor fan in the ceiling in the kitchen. So that sucks the hot air out of the room. It causes ventilation. As long as you've got an airflow in the house, you're always going to get that hot air will dissipate and it will go around. Insulation also, you can put insulation in the roof, which I did in my wife's farm in Karat. That worked. That stops all that heat from coming down through the roof. So yeah, insulation, and having an airflow in the house. Have a look at them videos that I put about keeping your house cool. And the gate or the door acts as a security gate as well when we go on holiday, because you can bolt it and shut it. So it bolts from the inside and the outside. So yeah, have a look at that, keeping your house cool during the summer. And it works. It works. But you still can't get away from the heat. It'll cool it down, but there's only aircon that can actually make the house cooler, or sitting in front of a fan. And even in the hottest part of the year, we only ever have the aircon on for an hour and a half, maybe on the evening at the hottest part. And our air conditioning in the bedroom has been broken for 2 years because my wife doesn't like it. She doesn't like aircon. So we get used to even sleeping in the hot temperature with a couple of fans, and that works also. So yeah, there are ways. Insulation, having an airflow. Have a look at that video with regard to keeping your house cool, and you'll see what I did. Fun Casino, thank you, Les. Enjoyed your live stream chat as usual. Thanks very much for watching, much appreciated. Can you recommend somewhere to stay? Rayong, I've done that. Okay. Reducing the airflow, reducing the temperature. Yeah, I've just explained that. Catch you later, Les. Thanks for everything. Good day to you and watching the stream. Thank you very much, Silver Trekker. Rayong is an industrial province like Glasgow and has many beautiful beaches. It's a good place for vacation. Yeah, I mean, people have said that to me. When Rayong is known for its industrial and chemical location, but in reality, we live 60 kilometers away from that. So we're nowhere near it. And we have some beautiful beaches. And Lee May Pim, which is about another 20-25 kilometers from where we live, is stunningly beautiful and clean. And the seas are very safe to swim in and warm. It's like jumping into a bathwater. Very safe. The beaches are lovely. Pollution's everywhere. Sadly, even Phuket beaches get littered with plastic and that, and they have to clean it up. And the same thing over here. Again, that's another disappointing thing when you see Thai people just throw stuff on the floor as opposed to putting it in a bin. But that's education, isn't it? Maybe it's one day they'll stop doing it. We never ever litter anywhere, and I've always been taught that from being very young. You take it home with you, put it in a bin. You don't just throw it on the floor. Hi Les, how's the air quality been in your area? The air quality here is okay. there's been a few little hazy days, so everybody says that's pollution. We've had a couple of morning misty days, which is beautiful because we have mist over the trees, which is nice to see. But when the sun gets out, it burns it off. I've got to say, I suffer from emphysema, and people say when you suffer from emphysema, you feel the pollution in the air. I'm not coughing, sneezing, or hawking up anything. It's okay where I am, but basically, the further south you go, the cleaner the air is, and the most polluted area, Bangkok, a couple of weeks ago, was the 4th most polluted city in the world. So that says everything. So the pollution's got to be very high if the 4th polluted city in the world. So yeah, the pollution, they come up trying to stop the Thais from burning the sugarcane. That's never ever going to happen because that's the cheapest way to get rid of it. To actually collect it and dispose of it properly, it would put the price up of everything, and that Thailand doesn't want to do that. So I think for many, many years, the blind eye will also be cast, and people will just burn it. Question: if I moved there with my girlfriend, I'm guessing we would both need to show separate incomes if not married. Yeah, that is the disadvantage of it. If you moved as boyfriend and girlfriend, you'd have to have different incomes. But you can I mean, the way to do it is if you have 800,000 baht in the bank, then that's one of yous. One of yous can have the retirement visa, but both of yous would have to be over 50 as well to get the retirement visa. So one person can use the 800,000, then the second person could use an agent, where you wouldn't have to put the 800,000 in the bank, or you could both use an agent. And if you both use an agent, then the cost of that would be about 30,000 baht each a year for the first year. Then the second year would be 12 to 15,000. So it's not prohibitively expensive to be able to do that. But if you were married, for those people who are married and want to, the husband and wife come over here, say the guy or whoever's got the pension, whether it's the guy or whether it's a lady, let's say it's the guy for argument's sake, then his wife can be classed as a dependent, so she can get a dependency visa based on marriage with her husband. So then you only need to show one lot of 800,000 baht in the bank, or the income method at 65,000. So there's always a way. There's nothing can't be sorted out here in Thailand. There's always a will and there's a way of doing everything. And again, some of the people, again, I have workarounds for the visas and for the people that are not on 65,000 a month, and they're all legal. It's all legal and above board. I would never recommend anybody to do anything illegal over here in Thailand. I like living in Thailand, so why would I do anything illegal? But the law can be bent in such a way that some of these things can be overlooked, if you like. Brown envelopes are the favorite things around here in Thailand. And once you've got a few brown envelopes, nothing is impossible. But that's also like an agent. Some people like them, some people loathe them, but the agents will wave their magic wands and everything will appear legal and above board. It's like opening a bank account here. It's almost impossible to do, but it can be done. One of my subscribers wrote to me the other day. He got his landlady to say that he's living there full time for like a 6-month rental contract. He went to the immigration office. He got a residency certificate because he showed the landlady's application to lease the house to him for 6 months. And he went to the bank and he opened a bank account, which is unheard of. And I take my hat off to him if it worked. But if you don't have that residency certificate because you haven't got any proof of where you're living, it's very, very difficult to do on a tourist visa. Maybe he was at the right place, but so many people write to me, how can I get a bank account open? How can I get a bank? Use an agent. Because of all of the washing of the money which goes on in Thailand, that has made it by the Ruskies, it makes it difficult for people to open up a bank account on a tourist visa. So Using an agent, it might cost you £100 to open a bank account, but it's a one-time thing. You do that and there's no running around and it's done. And the agents can open it up in a day. So contact various, visa agents and they can open up your bank account. Same with getting a Thai driver's license. You can bypass the system and for like 4,500 baht again, you can obtain your license without actually going and doing all the tests and things like that. Legal and above board, but an agent can do it. So everything's sort of possible over here. It's just knowing the right people and being sent. And that's why YouTube is good, because YouTube is full of people who live here. I've lived here for 13 years, so I know a little bit about living here. And if I can't point you in the right direction, I'll point to somebody that can point you in the right direction. Everything is possible here. Les, is there any more news on the tax income situation for pensioners bringing money into Thailand when living in Thailand? Yeah, there's always videos on tax into Thailand. And in reality, the answer is Thailand still doesn't know yet. So if Thailand still doesn't know yet, some of these so-called tax experts, they don't know either, because they will only know when the Thai government announces it and puts it in the Thai Gazette. Then everybody knows where they're splodging. But the guy that I spoke to, I had a 15-minute conversation with, which only lasted 10 minutes. And he told me that because I get my pension from a government source in the UK, I won't be taxed. I don't have to file tax or anything. And I said, are you 100% on that? And he said, well, I'm 90%. So 90% isn't 100%, is it? So even the tax experts can't give you a definitive answer. So I would say, don't worry about the tax. Wait until it comes. Wait until it's sorted out and then cross that bridge when you get to it, because it'll be all over YouTube. It'll be all over the news. It will be such a big news story because everybody's waiting for it as well. So sorry, again, I can't give you any further information on with regard to the tax, when it's going to happen. I haven't got a tax number. I've done nothing at all about tax. I haven't even saved up any money. If I have to pay me tax bill, if they say, oh, you have to pay this amount of money, they're going to give you time to do it, because they can't. Your tax is due at the end of March. So if the tax is due at the end of March, but they haven't given you how much tax you might have to pay, how can they expect you to pay? So there's always going to be a free movement, just go with the flow, wait and see what happens, cross the bridge when we come to it, and let's hope that the bridge is closed and they're not going to tax anybody. I did hear a little rumor the other day that if you bring less than 2 million baht into the country every year, they're not even going to look at you for tax. But that was another little bit of a snippet of information. And it's like, well, I hope that's so, because that'll just please so many people. How many people bring 2 million baht a year to live on? I'd love to have 2 million baht a year to live on. I'd have 1.9 million, so I wouldn't have to pay tax. And I'd have a fantastic time on that. I have a fantastic time on 60,000 baht a month. So if you had, much more than that, you'd have a super. You would live like a king over here. But anyway, cross that bridge when you come to it, mate. I'm sorry I can't give you any more information from that, but I can only tell you what I know. Question: have you managed the new visa yet, please? Yeah, I got my new visa, my marriage visa. I had to jump through various hoops to be able to get that, but I'm on a marriage visa again. And the reason why my marriage visa was cancelled, because I had to go back to the UK at the same time when my marriage visa was due. And because I wasn't in the country for the under consideration bit, my visa was cancelled. But I knew it was going to get cancelled. My advice to anybody with regard to visas, if anything happens, go and ask the immigration office. There are people like me who will tell you, you can do this and you can do that, you can do the other. But the people who know, and they all should sing from the same hymn sheet, but they don't, is the immigration office. Go to your local immigration office, tell them what you're planning on doing, what you'd like to do. They will give you the 100% definitive answer. But even then, that can change. Because on my marriage visa application, we went a month before it was due, and she went through all the paper. You don't need that, you don't need that, you don't need that, you don't need that. Come back in a month's time, and we'll go through the system and everything's okay, because you've done all the paperwork. So we went back a month later and she said, why haven't you got this? Why haven't you got the other? And thankfully, my wife got her to sign this little bit of paper the month before saying all the paperwork is acceptable, no further action required. So when we went back to the time, she said, I want this, I want it. You laugh. All it was a stamp on the rental agreement that we got from the house. There wasn't a stamp on it. So she was shouting at my wife, really like, why haven't you got this, blah, 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 blah. And my wife said, we've been coming here for 6 years and we've never needed it, but now we need it. So where do we get it from? She said, and she opened the package and she said, there you go, 10 baht. So give her the 10 baht. She photocopied the tenancy agreement, job done, job sorted, 10 baht. But now we've got the stamp. That's 10 baht. But for 6 years, we never needed it, but this year we needed it. So we've got the stamp in a little envelope. So every year now, when we go back, we'll make sure that's just another thing that she asks for. We'll put the stamp on, photocopy it, job done. But why get all aerated and excited about it? Because we didn't have a 10 baht stamp. So not all immigration officers sing from the same hymn sheet. So you might have one that is more flexible, if you like, and you might have one that's more staunch. We've got the more staunch one. But thankfully, she finishes in October, and there's a new person that's been trained up for it. And hopefully everything should be more efficient and more amenable, if you like, because nobody liked her. She's a horrible, horrible lady. And she can't even speak English. So she works in immigration and couldn't speak English. So we did all the translation through my wife. Crazy. Twin, always enjoy your videos. Thanks very much. Question, have you managed the new, I've answered that one. Yeah, the new visa, everything's done. Hi, Les. If I have a bank account in Thailand, it is monitored by the UK. Am I a UK citizen and pay tax in the UK? No, you need a bank account. If you want a retirement visa here, you do need a bank account here in Thailand. There's no way around that. You need a bank account. With regard to paying your tax in the UK, there is a tax agreement between Thailand and the UK. Again, every single person is totally different with regard to the taxes. Again, tax, I wouldn't worry about it. Wait until it happens, then seek. Because there are some people that will charge you 7,000 baht to go and get a tax ID number. And it's not difficult. You can go and get it yourself. You need a Thai person with you because all the forms are in Thai. So you need somebody to help you with Thai. But these tax firms will say, we'll get you the Thai account number and it'll cost you 7,000 baht for something that you can get for free. If you take your wife or a friend, even if you paid them 1,000 baht, say, listen, come down to the office with me. I want me tax. So you do all the negotiations. That's what I'm saying. At the minute, there's a lot of scaremongering going on. Contact this lawyer, contact that lawyer. If you want this, contact this tax expert. We'll help you do something that you don't need already and charge you 7,000 baht. And if you don't need it, well, you got it just in case you needed it. So there's a lot of scaremongering going on. And I'm one of the people who sort of try to stay away from scaremongering and say, wait until it happens. There's nothing you can do until it happens. And then when it does happen, they're going to give you time to rectify anything that you haven't done. So it's not impossible. So don't worry about it. Wait until it happens and go with the flow. Question, Les. Am I correct in saying that I have to have a permanent Thai address to be able to apply for a driving license? Thank you and keep up the good work. No, you don't need a permanent address. You just need an address. So you can actually do that with with a hotel or something like that. But it's easier with a Thai address. That's where the agents come in as well. If you go to see an agent who will get you a motorbike, you'll be probably registered with the other 8,000 people that are living at his address for his Thai residency. But it works because then you've got a Thai address that it's going to be linked to, because your license address will be at that address. So it helps if you've got a permanent Thai address, because realistically, every time you move, you would have to go and inform the licensing people that you're living at a different address. Whereas if you use an agent, it's registered at that address all the time. So that's way around the system. Use an agent and they will use a permanent address, but that will be on your license as well. So yeah, there's ways around the system, but to get a Thai license, a driver's license for a motorbike and a car, it's about 5,000 baht, or maybe 6,000 baht if you get them both done together. So it's worth using an agent for that, because it cuts through all the paperwork and bureaucracy, and they do all the work for you. So I'm singing the agent's praises, because they wave the magic wand and things happen, which is good, isn't it? Question highlights. Did you manage to look at the new Visa? Yeah, please. Visa. What's the Visa? You've lost me there. What is the new? Look at the new Visa. Or is that Visa? It's meant to be. Oh, the new. Yeah, I'm just saying it. It's just popped up now. The new Visa and the best way to navigate it. The new Visa. I mean, there's new Visa. The new Visa, I mean, is that the retirement, not retirement visa, the DTV Visa? No, I still didn't really look into that. Again, that's like a 5-year visa. I've never been asked really any questions on it, but there are plenty of people on YouTube that will do it. Again, an agent will do it for you. Apparently, it's quite easy. That's for like the vloggers and the just trying to think of the word for it now, the people who work, internet workers and things like that. Yeah, the DTV visas, the guides that I send people to are just for the normal retirement visas. I never had one person asking me about the DT Destination Thailand visa, because basically they're younger people, and majority of my subscribers are in the 50s and plus and want to have a retirement visa. So I've never really been asked very much about the DTV visa. So I've got to stick my hand up. I don't really know about that one, but I would direct you towards an agent. There's plenty of visa agents. And if you just type in Google search DTV agents Thailand, there'll be a plethora of information, and they'll be able to help you out with that. But I've heard it's an easy visa, and it's quite a cheap visa as well to get what you want if you're below 50 years old. So best wishes for that. Sorry, I can't help with that one. But again, DTV Visa, Thailand, Google that, and you'll get plenty of agents that will be able to do it for you. Dave Clark, renting better than purchasing a property. Your neck of the woods look fantastic. Yeah, I mean, renting is always an option. You don't have to buy something, but some people say renting is a waste of money. Other people say buying is a risky. Just living life is a risk, isn't it? Only be happy to do the things that you want to do, and go with your gut feeling and go with what is good for you. And if it's good for you for renting, well, then rent it, because at least with renting, you can move anywhere you want. Buying something, if you're buying the wrong area, then you're stuck. The chances of selling something, you could be stuck as well. Digital nomads, that's the word. Digital nomads. But invariably, they are under 50-year-old, the digital nomads. But then again, I mean, for a 30 or 40-year-old to be able to come live in Thailand, work off the internet, I've never found any internet working yet that pays enough money for me to stay here. But I'm not a tech-savvy guy type of thing. I've tried many things, and I've even done videos here about working online, and all of these people say, oh, you can do this, you can make a six-figure number. I've never made a six-figure number doing the things that I've done, and I've looked into all the opportunities. And basically, the only people that are making the six-figure numbers are the people who are selling the courses to make it the six-figure numbers, because then there's a little clause in it say, this is not guaranteed that you'll make six-figure. Depends how much work that you're doing. And the analogy of this is in the gold rush days. Who made the money? The people who were prospecting for the gold, or the people who are selling the shovels for those people digging for gold. The people who sell the shovels probably made more money than the people digging for gold. So that's the same analogy of the people selling you the courses to tell you that you can make a 6-figure salary by doing this, being a digital nomad. No, I've had an Etsy store, I've had a faceless YouTube. Again, I've done a video about that. Maybe it's over here. Maybe you need to do a review on that, because spoiler alert, it does not work. Even this, doing the YouTube, probably $100, $150 a month. That's not enough to retire on, is it? But there are some other YouTubers that's making $1,000 a month or something like that. But, you know, they can easily burn out by doing that. And it's the sort of same videos, Pattaya, Bangkok, you know, they are the big YouTubers, if you like, and they get lots of views, and it's a forever green audience, because Thailand will always be a forever green country to come to. But making money online is very, very difficult. I love you. I love your no-nonsense approach to everything. Been watching you for a few years now, and really enjoy watching your videos. Thanks very much, Ting Tong John. I am down to earth, and as I tell it how it is. And when I tell some people who come here something that they don't particularly like, one or two of them have been offended by my bluntness, if you like. But I'd sooner be blunt than trying to sell you a fairy story, you know, because I can do that as well. I can make a lot of money out of people telling them, oh, I'll do this for you, I can do that for you, I can do the other for you, make it sound so brilliant to come here. And of course, I could also offer the service. Well, you do this, you do that, you do the other. We'll get you the woman, we'll get you this, we'll get you the house. And no, you've got to go and do it yourself. I'll tell you how it is. And there are some people who come to Thailand totally with the wrong impression of Thailand, and it can bite you in the bum as well in Thailand. It really can. I'm not a person who tells you relationship problems and how to fix them. I can give you guidance and advice on what can be a problem, but I'm not going to say, well, you don't need to be with her, you don't need to be with him, because they're ripping you off and things like that. We all have to learn our mistakes and recognize the warning signs. And there are plenty of warning signs here in Thailand, but some people think with their second brain and not their main brain. And it's the second brain that gets them into all sorts of problems. Hi, thanks Les for all your videos. I'm becoming for an O visa driver's license, Bangkok with an agent. They have quoted 45,000 baht for the service in Hua Hin. Does this sound reasonable? Yeah, 45. If you're going to get your license and things like that, yeah. In Pattaya, the guy that I send people to for a visa and open a bank account is about 30,000 baht. And he does that for you. But a driver's license would be another 5,000 baht. So that's, 35,000. So Hua Hin, yeah, I mean, these prices might have gone up now. I haven't spoken to him for 2 or 3 months. But I know he does the driver's licenses for 4,500 to 5,000 baht. So there are other places in Pattaya that charge 60,000 baht for the same service as what this guy charges 30,000 baht for. And you still get the same visa, but in one part, 60,000, the other part, 30,000. It's knowing the places where to go to. I don't make any commission off this. I send people to this guy, and it's because I trust him. And it's not because he's doing it for monetary services. Otherwise, if he says, I'll give you 5,000 baht for every time you send somebody to me, he's charging you 5,000 baht on top of what he's charging anyway. So the price is 30,000 baht-ish for your first visa. And that lasts for about 15 months, because basically what it is, it's a O visa application form. So your first 3 months is for an O visa application, then your visa comes in after, and that's your 12-month visa. And then by using an agent, you can use an agent to get your visa for the first year. Then for them 12 months, as long as you put 65,000 baht into a bank account every month, and that's the income method, then after 12 months, you can transfer it over from the 800,000, which the agent put in the bank for you the year before, and you can move over to the 65,000 baht a month income method. And then your visa after that is 1,900 baht per year, which is cheaper chips, isn't it? And it's only using the services, and there's ways around it that you can do it, and the income method, because let's face it, at the end of the day, you need money to live on anyway. So use that money that you're bringing over, 65,000 a month, and then you can get your visa, no problem. So there's ways and means of doing it. Hi Les, what would you recommend is the lowest UK pension income to live on, like yours in Thailand? Okay, I've had this conversation with a few guys over the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I've physically shown this guy he can live on £1,000 a month. At the minute, with the Thai baht against the pound has dropped from like 45 it was a year or so ago down to just short of 42 now. But even then, you know, you've lost quite a bit of money in the transfer rates. £1,000, which is 42,000 baht a month, you can live in Thailand on 42,000 baht a month, which is £1,000. And I showed him the accommodation that he could live in. I showed him the entertainment that he could go and have, the buying a motorbike or renting a motorbike, and medical insurance, and what else was it? Oh, the cost of the visa for an agent to use it. And he still has £200 a month left for like emergencies or anything else like that. I would say you've got to have medical insurance, and even at 66, he could still afford the medical insurance on the state pension, and he had a little bit of savings as well, so he topped it up to £1,000 a month, and he can live on £1,000 a month. Whether you live a fantastic life, you're not going to live a fantastic life on that, but it's more than likely, and from his words, from his mouth, it's a better standard of living than he could live in the UK on a state pension. And sadly, he wasn't in a private pension scheme, so all he has is his pension and a little bit of savings, which could top it up to like £1,000 a month. And he worked out that the savings that he had with the state pension, and he understands and realizes by living in Thailand, his state pension isn't going to go up. But he worked it out, a 66-year-old man, and what he has, he could live for 15 years with the savings that he's had, topping his money up, you know, from the 800 and odd pounds that you're going to get on the state pension, topping up to £1,000. So that's 15 years. So 66, 70, almost 80 years old, isn't it? So, and his money's still going to make, his savings are still going to make a little bit of interest on that. And if he did a trip to the Philippines, because he's never going to be able to afford to buy a house here in Thailand, say after 5 years or so, he's going to get a 10% rise. So he could even go and live in the Philippines and up his pension by the £100 a month or so. So there are ways and means around it. So it's not a no-no by thinking you've only got your state pension to live on in Thailand. It can be done. And there's ways and means around the visa type of thing as well. So yeah, but suggestion is come and try it first. Don't think that Thailand's going to be me for the rest of my life. Come and try it first and see what your quality of life can be, and just use your £1,000 a month that you've got as a guide, thinking, well, okay, I'm not going to spend any more than this. This is what I'm going to do. Live over here for 2 or 3 months, and you can see that it can be done. No problem. Hi, Les, thanks for all the videos. I'm going for 45,000. I read that one. Yeah, so good luck with that one. 45,000 is okay. It can be a bit cheaper elsewhere, but factor into the price to get from Hua Hin to Pattaya and back. It probably use the agent in Hua Hin. Then you can use them all the time. But basically, your first one's the most expensive one. Then your renewal is always going to be cheaper than the original one. Unless I'm thinking about coming to Thailand. I've been there every year, retire in 2 years, all but just rent my house and live out in the bank my pension. Yeah, again, that's a good thing. but use a rental agency to do that, to manage your property type of thing. And yeah, that can be fraught with danger as well, renting your house out, you know, this day and age, because the rights are on the tenant side, and there's so many people, including me, who's lost out in the rental game. Yeah, I was going to say I would be tempted just to sell the house and live off the rental income. But that's if you make the final move. But come and live over here for a year or 2 years before you even make that decision. But it's just another problem that you can have with bad tenants. They could wreck your house, and although the agents say, oh yeah, we'll pay for all the record, blah, 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 trying to get the money out of them can be a bad thing. I've done a video where I rented my house out to the university students, and then foolishly rented it out to the government for refugees, which was a nightmare. So don't renting out to the government thing and there's 5 years guaranteed money, because you'll pay the price at the end of the day. And that's what the government are doing, offering people incentives to rent people's houses for these illegal refugees, illegal immigrants. So beware about renting your house out, that's for sure. How is the new immigration officer compared to the new one? We won't know until November or December. She leaves in October this year, and our visa is due in the November, December time. So we met her when she was doing all the paperwork. She's only a young girl in the early 20s, mid-20s maybe. So she just looks a friendlier person, but who knows? You know, she might be worse than the person that but I can't see that at all. So let's see, and I'll probably do another video in December and tell everybody all about it. There's my wife taking a photograph of me talking to you. She laughed because she said, you just talk alone, which I do, because I'm talking alone. There's nobody else, and I'm just looking at you in the camera, and that's it. And I just read the comments, and away we go. But I've been doing it for 2 hours and 26 minutes and 44 seconds now. And I've never stopped, have I? I've never been short of anything to say. And it's all due to you. We've got 70 people in the house. So again, thumbs up to anybody that hasn't put a thumbs up. Subscribing would be very, very nice, because it all helps the channel along. I'm almost at 14,000 subscribers now. So, you know, that goes. I do all sorts of subjects about living here in Thailand, with, you know, the garden, the water filtration system, the solar system. I've always got something to do. It's never just like a one-trick pony, if you like. And people see how the way I live here in Thailand, our holidays, the cars, anything that goes up or down, working type of thing. I'm sort of an open book, and I tell you how it is, and I don't embellish it, and I don't, you know, say it is what it isn't. You know, it is what it is. You know, people like it, some people don't like it. Do you need any jobs for Thailand? What do you mean, do you need any jobs for Thailand? How is the new immigrant? Oh, we've gone past that. Hi, Les, do you have to be in the UK for a continuous 6-month period to get the pension rise? A total of 6 months over the year. Thanks. Again, now that's a bit of a catch-22 situation, isn't it? If you live in England for 6 months, you'll get your pension rise, no problem. If you've got an address in the UK, you live in the UK for 6 months, you've got no problem whatsoever. The problem being is that you can have a rental property, say it's your house, and you rented it out in England, and you live in Thailand full time, although you're still registered in the UK because it's your house technically, but you have been out of the UK for more than 6 months. And if you've been out of the UK more than 6 months, you lose all sorts of benefits. You can lose your free NHS treatment, which supposedly takes 2 years to get back under the register. Unless you arrive on a little rubber boat, then you're back at the front of the queue. So technically, if you live in Thailand for a year, you're out of the country for more than 6 months. So therefore, your pension could be frozen if they find out that that's what you're doing. But so many people say I'm saying I'll say me living with my sisters, I'm living with my brothers, and living with my Uncle Bob's or whatever. In reality, there's proof to show that you're not, because there's a stamp in your passport, and the immigration department. One day, all the immigration departments, all the passport agency, it'll be linked up, so they can just tap in a button, see where you are anywhere in the world. Big Brother is watching all over the world, isn't it? And eventually, everywhere will be contactable. Where you've been, Big Brother will know exactly where you've been, what hotel you've been in, how much you paid, and everything. So the Department of Health and Pensions is trying to save money. The government at the minute is trying to save money. So they will pay somebody a minuscule amount to look at people's where they're living, especially if you're claiming the state pension. And when all said and done, it's classed as fraud if you claiming to live in the UK and you're not. So if you get done by the Department of Work and Pensions, they can claim all of the overpayments back, what they've paid you. And whether they do that in one fell swoop or whether they do it over a 2, 3, 4 year period, who knows? But they have the power to repossess the money that they've overpaid you. And also, to add to that, it's a criminal offence. So if you get done by the Department of Work and Pensions and it's a criminal offence, that could alter also your entitlement to stay here in Thailand, depending on what visa you come in, because they can do a police check. And if you've got a criminal record, well, then you might not find it as easy to get your visa anymore over here. So for me, is it worth it? No, it isn't. I'm going to tell them the day that I apply for my pension, which is another 18 months' time, that I'll live in Thailand and I'll get it frozen from that time. The other thing that I've considered is, because my birthday is in the July, but I don't get my rise until the October, is maybe deferring it until the April. Let's just see what the rate of interest or the percentage rate of rise is going to be. This year it's 4.5%. So if it's 4.5%, it might be worth my while deferring my pension payments until the April of the following year. Then I'll get the 4.5%, because it's only frozen at the time of application when you apply for your visa. So watch this space, and I'll let everybody know how it works, type of thing. But the people that are living over the Philippines, there's 3 people that are there now and 1 person that's going in April. And for all intents and purposes, everything's working for them. They've been told that they're going to get the full state pension, increase, rise, whilst they're living in the Philippines. And when they leave the Philippines, as long as they inform the Department of Work and Pensions, they will get their new rise. And there's 1 or 2 other people, but the proof is in the pudding. And as yet, I've had nobody come back and say, I'm still getting the same pensions. So for those people that are doing it, please let me know also. They said they would when they come back to Thailand. So because I give them the information, if I didn't give them the information, they wouldn't be getting the £45 a week extra anyway. So I'm sure they'll let me know, and any warts and all. But according to the Department of Work and Pensions, there's no reason why they shouldn't be getting that full rise afterwards. So there's ways and means of doing it. So yes, I will let you know. Les, thanks for taking time to chat and give valuable information. I own a house in England, but what's going on in the UK, I think it's better to sell rather than rent. What do you think? Again, as I said, don't burn your bridges. If you're looking to look abroad somewhere, to go and live somewhere else, go and live there for a trial period and see what it's like. Because when all said and done, as much as I love Thailand, I've met guys that hate Thailand because of the humidity and you know, they just can't get by with the language and things like that. So before you burn your bridges, go and have a look at the area. Even if you live there for a year, that gives you a better indication of whether you can live there and whether you're not. I don't want to return back to the UK because the UK has got nothing for me but miserable weather and miserable lifestyle, because I couldn't afford this lifestyle where I've got here now back in the UK. And that's why I say to everybody, you know, Portugal, Europe, I loved Italy, but Italy was unaffordable. I bought a plot of land in France. I was going to build a house in France. but that's still cold for 4 or 5 months of the year, but stunningly beautiful views. Thailand now for me ticks all the boxes. And if I'd have built my house in France, then I would never have discovered going around the world, because I couldn't afford both. I spent my money going around the world. I never built a house, but do I regret it? Not one single thing, because I met so many nice people who opened my eyes as far as traveling the world and what you need in life. And I used to be a Mr. Jones. I lived in Mr. Jones's street, keeping up with the Joneses. And now I don't live that lifestyle at all, because living in Thailand, you discover the people with nothing are more happier than the people that have everything. And it's a wonderful place to live. So yeah, don't burn your bridges. Go and look first, see what you like. It doesn't have to be Thailand, it could be anywhere in the world. Living outside of the box. Holiday period for the first 2 or 3 months, maybe, and then once you've been somewhere for 6 months, you see the proper side of it. You talk to many expats who are already living there, listen to their advice, watch numerous YouTube videos, ask the questions, and you'll get a feeling for it. And it's go with your gut feeling. If you think you can manage and do it, well, then go and do it. But if you can't, stay where you are. But I love Thailand. I've been to Thailand many times, 4 months at a time for 5 years. And now, one time I was always depressed when I left. Thailand is a place for me. Yeah, I did a video about it, the Thailand blues. And everybody knows that them escalators that you go up into the, where you put all your trays and they go through you. That's the last impression. That's the last people see of Thailand. And it's it's such a depressing elevator, because once you go past them elevators, you're out. You're on your way home, type of thing. I'm actually homesick. When I go back to England, I'm homesick because I miss Thailand. And I'm so happy when I set foot off that plane, come back to Thailand. And as much as I could say my sisters, I have a good time. I've got plenty of friends over in the UK, and I enjoy meeting them all. And it's such a good time, chatting type of thing. But I'm the only one that lives outside of the box. Everybody else is 9 to 5 to go to the club, go watch the racing, go watch the TV and stuff like that. I'm the only one that lives outside of the box and do what I'm doing. There's people with motorhomes, and which I like, because I like motorhomes, and then have some good holidays and retired. But there's a lot of guys who just sit in the chair and do nothing all day. So life is for living. And when you've got more years behind you than you have in front of you, it's time to make a move, isn't it? Do something that you want to do in life. If you want to sit in the chair, watch the golf or the tennis on the TV, well, that's your life. Go and do it. But there is more to life than watching the TV. Worst escalators in the world. They are, aren't they? Because it's like stairway to miserable, because you've invariably had a good time in Thailand, and them escalators take it away from it. Les, I read the other day, this year, the Department of Work and Pensions will be looking to bank accounts. They will be looking at overseas transfers and cross-referencing those claims. Yeah, exactly. They have the power now. If they suspect anything, they can look into your bank accounts. That was active, I think, from January of this year. So that's what I'm saying. Big Brother knows exactly where you are, because immigration check you in once you come into Thailand. And ever since sort of 9/11, the world has got a place. You're on CCTV, you're on camera. Your fingerprints are taken at the immigration as you come into Thailand. So everybody knows where you are. So for those bean counters at the Department of Work and Pensions, you'll pay somebody on minimum wage to look at every single person in the UK where you've been. And let's face it, everybody's got a passport. That's an ID number. And once you type in your passport number or your date of birth or something like that, they'll cross-reference it. They'll know exactly where you've been. And then cross-reference it with when you've been making your claims. So in reality, you're on a hiding to nothing. And why risk that when there's other ways and means of being able to do it. Like, as I say, my suggestion of going living in the Philippines for 6 months, it's sort of, I look upon it, it's a holiday paid by you, but given by the government. But if you don't do it, the government keeps your money. So you might as well go on a holiday funded by yourself, because it's your money the government are going to pay you. And after the holiday, you guarantee that that money will stay at that rate for the rest of your life. Like now, the people that I've talked to are going to get a 24% pay rise. So £45 a week, 45, 90, 180, almost £200 a month pay rise for the rest of their lives. So over a 10-year period, that's £27,000. So let's say it costs them £6,000 to live in the Philippines for 6 months. They're still £20,000 up over the next 10 years. I'd sooner have £20,000 in my back pocket than giving it to the government at all. And the government are going to say thanks very much for not doing anything. But there are people who will do it, and there are people who won't do it. So, but the option's already there. Have a look at the my video, Frozen Pensions, and that is a video well worth looking at. And it can be done. It can be done. Hi, Les. No more Sonny Bogner here in Penang. Admitted to the hospital having a colonoscopy in the morning. Funny old life. Oh, wow. Sonny Bogner. I think we've talked about Sonny Bogner many times, haven't we? I've been to Bogner a couple of times. What an awful name, Bogner. Well, good luck with your colonoscopy tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure they'll find lots of the brown stuff up there. But fingers crossed, mate. I hope everything goes well, and best wishes. But Penang, Malaysia. I thought I went to Penang, but I didn't. I went to Butterworth, Georgetown. I was in the wrong place. So that is on my list with the wife. We're going to go to Malaysia on the overnight sleeper train, and we're going to go to Kuala Lumpur, and then we're going to go to Penang. That is probably one of the first holidays that we're going to have. Probably spend Christmas in Malaysia. Next Christmas, not this Christmas coming up, but the Christmas after, because that's when I get my pension. And it's going to be on a big holiday. And it's only 60 quid, £61, I think it is, for a 21-hour sleeper train journey from Bangkok to Malaysia. So it's cheap as chips. It's not expensive. And Malaysia is a beautiful place. Kuala Lumpur is very nice. And I'm looking forward to going to see the real Penang, because I missed it. That's the only mistake that I made when I travel around the world. I was in the wrong place. And I'm thinking, I can't see why people like Penang, because there's nothing here. And I was in the wrong place. Super 8 Rescue, thanks. No problem. Get to Armenia Street, Chula Street. Oh, I don't know that one. Is it specifically the Philippines you go for, entitled to the pension rise? Been there a lot, so I can go there for 6 months, no problem. I only use Philippines as an example, because that's the closest country if you're living in Thailand. There are many other countries that have a reciprocal agreement with the UK, but some of the countries you just wouldn't want to go to. And some of the other countries, like Barbados, I think, and Jamaica is two of them, it's so expensive to live there full time. Turkey is probably the other cheap country that you can go to. So even if you did 3 months in Turkey, 3 months in the UK, as long as it combines to 185 days inside the reciprocal countries in any financial year, that's from April the 6th to April the 5th, then you can claim your entitlement to the rise. So there are many ways to do it, you know, and it can be 3 months and then 3 months off and then 3 months again, as long as it adds up to 185 days in any financial year. Don't do 6 months, half one financial year, half the next financial, because that won't count. It has to be 6 months within the financial year. Do you need any injections for Thailand? No. When I did my round the world trip, there was a number of vaccinations. I had yellow fever and typhoid and stuff like that, but no, not really. But if you're worried about that, I think hepatitis B, I think, or hepatitis C, something like that. You get an injection for that. Go and see your doctor, and you'll probably get it for free. Vaccinations, or if you don't, maybe 20 quid or something like that. But if you're worried about that, go and see your doctor, and he'll tell you what injections you should have and what you shouldn't have. So there's no problem with that. But for me, no, you don't need any injections. Barry Cox, thanks, Les. No problem. Hepatitis and rabies. Yeah, well, yeah, the rabies. Yeah, Thailand has rabies. There's no getting away from that. But if you get bitten by a dog or scratched by a dog or a cat or a monkey or something like that, to get a rabies cost of injections, it's 13,000 baht, which is about 300 quid, which is quite expensive, isn't it? So just stay away from soy dogs and you know, don't try to pet or stroke the monkeys or cats and things like that. But even if you got a rabies injection before you come, if you were bitten or scratched by a dog, you'd still have to go for the course of injections, 6 or 7 injections. But if you tie, then that comes down to about 500 or 600 baht. But if you're a foreigner, I've heard of foreigners getting them for like 500 or 600 baht as well. But I've also heard foreigners having to pay up to 20,000 baht. The guy that I know that got bitten by a rabid dog, he had to have his injections and it cost him 13,000 baht, like 300 quid, which was a shame really, because he used to feed this soy dog and he used to give it the food, and on the day that he got bitten by it, he thought he's acting strange, and as he went to push the food towards the dog bit him. So he had to kill the dog to get him off his hand because he was like ravaging at his hand. So he killed the dog, and he put the dog into his samla, took it to the vet, and he went to the hospital, and they inspected the dog, which did have rabies. So he had the rabies injections, and it saved his life. So that was from day one. But there you go, helping a soy dog, feeding it, and the dog had rabies. So then there was a big hunt with the government, Rayong, because rabies was confirmed in a certain area. And I think they went and collected all the soy dogs and inspected them all. So 2 hours and 46, 2 3/4 hours, and I'm still going. So anything else? Okie dokie. I'm going to do a review on my motorbike. I've had that for a year now. My Honda PCX, my Honda Click 160 ABS. Wonderful motorbike, but again, I'll do a review over that. Over the moon with it. It's brilliant. It's a lovely little motorbike. Plenty of people have seen it and liked it. It's a nice motorbike. I've done a video on my solar mistakes, and as I've just had delivery of my new battery, so there's going to be more videos on that. We can all make mistakes, and some people will know that I'm a qualified electrician from the UK. So people think, well, why am I making mistakes? You know, because I'm an electrician, I should know better. Let me explain about electrics a little bit. Many years ago, we bought a house and it needed to be rewired. And my brother-in-law was an industrial electrician at the steelworks, an industrial electrician. And he said, Les, I wouldn't have a clue about house rewiring, house electrics. He said, because he deals with 3-phase all the time. And he said, it's totally different to house electrics. So he said, I can't rewire your house for you, because he said, I don't know that enough, because I'm an industrial electrician. And I thought, oh, that's strange. I thought, as an electrician, electricians know about everything, but they don't. I was a house sparky, so I used to do house rewires, and that was it. I rarely touched 3-phase, because 3-phase is totally different to normal electrics, and you can cause a lot of injuries by getting 3-phase wrong, and it can kill you, that's for sure, because it's a lot more heavier voltage. But I did dabble into a little bit of 3-phase, but not a lot, because I didn't like 3-phase, because it's sort of out of my area of expertise. House bashing and normal wiring, I did everything, did wonders with everything. Now solar goes onto a different level. It really does. And solar electrics, because you're dealing with DC voltage now, not AC, alternate current, voltages and amps, And I discovered a whole new world of amps with the batteries, because you're dealing with a lot more amps and you're dealing with a lot more thicker cable, and you can still have serious faults and serious injuries with solar panels. Everybody thinks a 12-volt battery, like a car battery, well, what can go wrong with a 12-volt battery? Many, many, many things, because of the ampage that you're dealing with. On my videos that I've done, I mean, the isolation switch is massive. It's over a 200 amp switch to isolate the battery from the board, from the solar converter. And the mistake that I made with the charge controller, again, I learn off YouTube. I'm like everything else, you know, I investigate, I research, and this calculation that was done to what size solar charger you need for the system, blah, 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 blah. And my solar panel was only 450 watt, but this charge controller said it'll take up to 750 watts. Job done, I thought, great. Bought the solar charger, which was very cheap, put it on, connected my solar panel to it, wasn't going to work. Looked further into it, and it said it'll only take between 15 and 25 volts. And 25 volts from a 450 panel was 44 volts. But if I had 150 watt panels each, that's 450 watts, and they were under 25 volts, I could connect 3 of them together, not just one panel. And you can alter, this is what I'm saying, this is why electrics is so complicated. You alter the volts, you can alter the amperages, whichever way you wire it, alters it. Solar, there's plenty of that. Mixing, matching, 12 volt system, 24 volt system, 36 volt system, 48 volt system. They all have different wiring configurations. And that was all new to me. And but I made a mistake, and I'll stick my hand up and I'll make the mistake, and I'll show you the mistake that I made. Not many people show you the mistakes that they made, because everybody likes to think they are an ultimate knowledge of everything. And we can't all know the same knowledge as everything. I will admit my mistakes. It wasn't a costly mistake, but it works. And some people say to me, I've said in the comments, why do you need to go to all of that fuss for just putting lights outside? Because I'm a tinkerer. It's my hobby. I like doing it. And, you know, some people spend a lot of money on golfing. You know, once you've hit the ball around 18 holes, what have you got out of it? You've had a long walk, but you've knocked the ball into 18 holes. At least with the solar, it's giving me free energy type of thing. And I like tinkering about with it. So horses for courses, you know, fishing, you can spend a lot of money on fishing gear. And the reward is catching a fish and just going out for the day. So there's lots of rewards in all the things that I do, but it might be rewarding to me, but to others, it's a waste of money. I like tinkering about, and I've enjoyed doing it. Okay, better on go do something. Thanks again, Les. No problem, Barry. Thanks very much for joining us. Much appreciated. So we're coming up to 3 hours. Has anybody got any other questions? Because we're coming up to 6 o'clock now, and the little beasties will start nibbling, because it's coming up to dusk now, and the mosquitoes will be out to start nibbling around my legs. So anybody got any questions that they want answering before I go? Again, just one last thing before I go. As I say, it's another reference to those people who live near Hua Hin type of thing. A couple of weeks or so ago, we had a live stream on with Cameron, who runs the Thai lady matchmaking service, and he's holding an event in Hua Hin, 15th to 17th of February. So if you want any information of him, he does a dating matching service, so that the ladies aren't on the internet and things like that. He vets the ladies and he vets the guys as well. So it's another way of meeting some Thai ladies. The ladies that he's got are from the age of 42 to 55. So just email Cameron on this email address here, and he'll tell you all about the event. And it's this month, 15th to the 17th in Hua Hin. Evening meals and things like that. Ask him any questions you want, and he'll tell you what you want to know. It's just another way, and I'm just giving him another plug as well. He's had a couple of plugs on this one, And I think it's a good way of meeting somebody as well. You know, meeting a partner in Thailand is fraught with danger, and this is just a bit less of a risk of doing it. And I think it's a good idea. So let me know if everything works. I've asked Cameron to do the same type of thing about the event. Let's hope it's successful. Let's hope that you can meet your future partner. And good luck to all of those people that are doing it. Mark, thumbs up. Thanks very much for the donation. Much appreciated. Very, very much appreciated for the super thanks. Thanks very much. To the link you for thank you for your advice. Do you Zoom or Skype? Which one do you use? Thank you. I do. You can have a one-to-one chat with me, doing it on WhatsApp. You just send me an email at this address for lesliepearson58@yahoo.com. And if you want to have a face-to-face chat, it's $10. $10 whether it lasts for an hour or whether it lasts for 3 hours. And that's on a WhatsApp face-to-face talk. You can ask any questions you want, and I'll give you the answers. And if I don't give you the answers that you want, then you don't even have to pay for the $10 chat. And that's just a way of doing it. Other people, other YouTubers here charge 45 quid for a 30-minute chat that you have to pay up front before you have the chat with them. And it's only for 30 minutes. And if you want any more time above that, it's another 45 quid. But I give all the same information for $10. And and if you, like I say, if you don't agree with the information that I give you, then you don't have to pay the $10. So it's a win-win situation if you want to do that, but that's up to you. But I do that. Just send me an email and we can arrange a time. Again, I meet people come for coffee on my sofa. They ask for all sorts of information. I give them all the information that they want. There's none of this subscribing thing where I ask people to subscribe to grow my channel, but there is no Patreon site where you have to pay. There's no special member site where you have to pay. I do sell very few ebooks out of my site, and but at the end of the day, a lot of them are just, helpful advice, like this one here. And that's all about living in Thailand. Living in Thailand, that's in the description above. And there's a few more ebooks like that I sell on my site. It's $3, the price of a cup of coffee. So you can either buy me a coffee or buy one of these, and it's $3. But it goes through all sorts of various things about living in Thailand. So I do ebooks, and if you just look on the description below, you'll see them on the site. Just click onto that. Keto diet as well, books, things like that. So that's blowing my own trumpet. That's the way that I make a little bit of extra money here on YouTube. But it's good advice, and people can choose to read it or not. So on that note, do I get commission? You forgot, lol. Thank you for that time, Les. Really appreciate it. Of course you get commission. The check is in the post, as always. Thanks very much, everybody, for joining me, and have a great day. And we might fit one in next Sunday. I don't know. If you want it on a weekly basis, I'm okay with that. We've had quite a few visitors here, so I think it's been a successful one today. Thanks very much for joining, and best wishes. Have a lovely weekend. Thanks for joining me.